All right, welcome into the High Noon Show here for Friday afternoon, April Fool's Day. Yeah, that's why we're 10 minutes late today. April Fools. April Fools. Ha! At least that sounds like a good explanation as to why we were late signing on the air today. It's April Fool's Day. That's all you need to know. That's the explanation. The explanation for why the show is starting 10 minutes late today is because it's April Fool's Day. And I just thought that would be you had to wait. You had to wonder, is he doing a show today? No. It is. That's it. That's the truth. The truth is it's April Fool's. So I decided that I would come on 10 minutes late. And it has nothing to do with the fact that my White Sox 15 minutes before the top of the hour decided to trade Craig Kimbrell to the Dodgers for AJ Pollock, and then I didn't need to, but was compelled to spend about 15 minutes on Dodger Twitter explaining to them that they basically got a bag of garbage. And, and then just as I'm about to come in here and set up and get the show on the air, then my general manager of my White Sox announced that, one of our best young pitchers is going to need Tommy John surgery. So, those things but the reason it has nothing to do with why I'm late. Actually, if I'm being honest, that is exactly why we're a little bit late today. We're a little bit late today because my White Sox traded Craig Kimbrell to the Los Angeles Dodgers, and we got the outfield. Here's what we need. Here's what my White Sox needed. We needed a left-handed bat that was young and could play right field for the next decade. And what we got was a right-handed bat who plays left field, who's probably got about a year or two left in the tank. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? We got he plays outfield. I suppose that's something. I don't know. Here's how I judge these things. Whenever my team gets involved in a trade, I don't go to my team's Twitter. I don't go to White Sox Twitter to see about the White Sox trade. I go to Dodger Twitter. That's who we traded with. I will go to Dodger Twitter, and I want to see what Dodger fans actually think about what they've given up. Dodger fans, it's kind of weird because it seems like the ones who really like baseball, who really pay attention, they seem to be upset that AJ Pollock is leaving. That contingent of Dodger fandom on Twitter is not happy. Baseball fans who are there rooting for the Dodgers, who don't really seem to pay attention to stuff, think that they're getting 2015 Craig Kimbrell, which they're not. They're not. Ask the Chicago Cub fan base and ask the Chicago White Sox fan base. Craig Kimbrell is a fantastic closer. And you can read about it in your history books because he hasn't been a fantastic closer in quite some time. So, fine. He was expensive. We needed to get him out of our system. We were going to use him as like middle relief. Craig Kimbrell was going to be used as middle relief. We have a very well stocked bullpen. So Dodgers, enjoy. You made me late on the show here today. And now still Garrett Crochet, who's like 15 years old and throws 102 miles an hour out of our bullpen. Apparently he needs Tommy John surgery. Don't worry, the show is not going to be all about baseball. It's just these other reasons I'm late. You want to know why I'm late? Here's why I'm late. Adam says Dodgers are shrewd at trading. They know what they're doing. I trust their front office. Hey, you know what? It's the best part of a trade. When both teams are happy, that's a good trade. Although I'm telling you, the reason I'm late is because I was on Dodger Twitter. It doesn't seem like these real hardcore Dodger blue checks and stuff are very pleased with giving up what they gave up to get what they got. They got a name. They got a name who the casual baseball fan goes, oh, he's good, right? Yeah, 5 years ago. 5 years ago, he was really good. Houston and the Braves, he was really good. Boston, he was good. But He's old. His arm is dead, and we had to get rid of him. He was too expensive. We didn't want him around. And like I said, my team needed a lefty hitting right fielder who could play right field for the next decade. And what we got was a righty hitting left fielder who's, 34, 35 years old. But whatever. He hit 300 last year. That's fine. Maybe he can play DH. I don't care. The big news is that we moved the Kimbrel saga with the White Sox is over. He's gone. And we're good with that. We're happy. When we got something, we didn't get a bag of balls for him. We got somebody who's actually has been a decent player, been hurt a lot, but so is Kimbrel. So, what are you going to do? The main concern for my White Sox is Garrett Crochet. Rick Hahn said Garrett Crochet will likely, Rick Hahn's our GM. Rick Hahn said Garrett Crochet will likely need Tommy John surgery, but they are now getting a second opinion. Oh my God, the crotch rocket, Garrett Crochet, my crotch rocket. Oh, he's like 6'5" and he's like 15 years old. Now I think he's 20. 21. He was the youngest pitcher to start a baseball game in like 20 years or something last year when he came out. He throws heat, man. He throws massive heat. Jose Abreu, a former MVP, said that he's the one guy he doesn't like to stand in against. He's like, this kid, he just throws. Got a little Nuke LaRouche in him, but, that's okay. We were really banking on Garrett, the crotch rocket. And Tommy John surgery, here we come. I'm so tired. I think I'm glad that Tommy John surgery exists. I'm just so tired of seeing good pitchers derailed for 1 to 2 seasons because they have this Tommy John surgery. But good news is much of the time they come back as good and sometimes better than before. And it extends their career. So whatever. He's got time. Like I said, Crochet, he's like 20 years old. He's fine. He'll be fine. I just wanted him this year. We needed him this year to shut shit down in like the 6th and 7th inning. All right. It is high noon. Welcome. I do apologize for being late. I got distracted. I got distracted by late breaking baseball news. And Kimbrel's trending now. So there you go. Consider it covered. Boom. There you go. Craig Kimbrel is now a Dodger. And good for him. He seemed like a nice guy. He just sucked, if I can put it bluntly. Here comes Kimbrel. There goes the ball. We got Liam Hendricks, the best closer in baseball. We're fine in the closer department. All right. It is high noon today. It is April Fool's Day. Yeah, I told you I've been dreading this day. April Fool's Day. It's so like, did Kimbrel really get traded? See, that was the other thing. When that news story broke just before we signed on the air here, and I got distracted trying to feed my fandom. My first thought was, nope, no, it couldn't be, because it made me too happy. It was like, no, it couldn't be. It can't be. This is a joke, right? This is White Sox Twitter doing a joke. But then Jeff Passan, and then the Major League Baseball people that I follow, the blue check MLB army, they all started to confirm it. And yeah, it looks like it's done. And it makes sense. The Dodgers. And I don't know, going back to what Adam said, I don't know that the Dodgers are all that shrewd with their trades, because this couldn't be considered a shrewd trade. I mean, people know the current state of Craig Kimbrel. What the Dodgers are is the Dodgers are just good at landing big free agents and then being willing to sign them. I mean, that's what the Dodgers have done. And I like the Dodgers. Although that is my prediction. That is my prediction for this year's Major League Baseball World Series. Los Angeles Dodgers in the National League, Chicago White Sox in the American League. And it's going to be a replay of the 1959 World Series. It's going to be just like 1959. The other cool thing about this trade is, fun fact, the White Sox and the Dodgers share a spring training facility. They're like the two closest teams in the other. They're very close. They screw around together on the field and all that. They share the same facilities. The Dodgers, they play on the same field. When the White Sox spring training games are at somebody else's field, the Dodgers are there. And when the Dodgers are at somebody else's field, the White Sox are there. So when you trade a Kimbrel for a Pollock, honestly, for these two guys, it's wonderfully convenient because all they got to do is just walk into the locker room next door. So they don't have to change hotel rooms. They don't have to get on a plane. They don't have to pack. It's all right there. All right, it is April 1st. It is the 91st day of the year. 274 days remain until the end of the year. Let's see what today's National Day calendar has for us. In addition to being April Fool's Day, what else is it? It's April Fool's Day, and we know that. Take Down Tobacco National Day of Action. Good luck with that. Nicotine is an insidious. Is it true? I don't know if this is true. I think this is true. I think I heard this somewhere. Tobacco doesn't naturally have nicotine in it, that nicotine is injected into tobacco, that the idea of cigarette culture, especially in the Americas, was that we had these amazing tobacco crops and we needed people to keep using tobacco. So they inject nicotine into tobacco so that people get hooked to be like if they inject. Well, I guess they don't have to. Maybe the similar thing happens with corn, right? That's why we use so much corn in everything. Corn syrup is in everything because it's what we make. It's what we grow. It's what we have here. We figured out a way to make corn a cornerstone in almost everything that we eat. Everything has corn syrup in it. But yeah, I don't know if that's true. Is that true? Anyone in the chat room know if that's true? Was Freeman wasn't a trade? Wasn't Freeman a free agent? Freeman was free. You know what? Was Mookie Betts a trade? You might be right, Adam. I don't know. You might be right. I just know that once they make these trades with guys who are in late stage contracts, they always tend to sign them. They don't allow their big players to really test free agency. They give them the big money up front, which is a pretty important part. If you're gonna trade away a whole bunch of players to get a superstar player who's got like 1 year left on his deal, you don't want to trade away the future for that next year unless you're willing to sign them to a long-term free agent deal. Yeah, Mookie was a trade with Boston, wasn't it? And Freeman, you might be right. Was Freeman a trade? Freeman was a free agent. Betts was a trade. Yeah, I thought Freeman was a free agent because he was on the market this year. All right, it's April Fool's Day. It's National Take Action Against Nicotine Day. It's National Sour Bread Day. Adam, we got to stop. Adam, you and I, baby, we can talk baseball on Twitter all day long, and you and I would probably really enjoy that, but I just don't imagine that most people want, because you're going to distract me. Adam, you're going to distract me with baseball content, and I know for a fact that nobody likes baseball. I know that it's like me talking F1. I have to keep it to a minimum. It's National Sour Bread Day, Sourdough Bread Day. I like, yeah, right. Sounds like it's National Baseball Nerds Day. Will C says. We'll stop. There are no other baseball topics trending. That's just one that is very important to me that occurred today. National Sourdough Bread Day. You like sourdough bread? I do. I really do. My buddy Mike, he's up there in Chicago. He sent me a text yesterday because he's all excited because there is a Schlotzsky's coming to Naperville, Illinois. And you have to understand now here we take Schlotzsky's for granted because there are Schlotzsky's here and almost nobody goes to them. I mean, I do. I go to the Schlotzsky. When was the last time I went to a Schlotzsky's? Anyway, about 30 years ago when we were in high school, there was a Schlotzsky's moved into the Chicago market, and they opened a couple of stores, and there just happened to have been a Schlotzsky's in our hometown. And some of us in my crew decided that Schlotzsky's was the greatest sandwich ever, and it's because of the sourdough. Oh, these sourdough buns that the Schlotzsky sandwiches are on. Oh, it's so good. So Mike was all excited that Schlotzsky's is coming back. And look at this, and now it's National Sourdough Bread Day. It's like a hybrid English muffin / sourdough English muffin kind of kind of bread that they have at Schlotzsky's. I love it. And I'm not even a big bread consumer, but oh my God, a Schlotzsky's original. Woo, God, so good. It's National 1 Cent Day today. I don't know. Yeah, Will is right, man. Schlotzsky's is very polarizing. It is. And I happen to be on the waving the flag for Schlotzsky's side of that polarizing issue. I really like Schlotzsky's. It's National 1 Cent Day. What is National 1 Cent Day? Let's see. Is that something we're supposed to do something with pennies? You can't do shit with pennies. What does Benjamin Franklin, the phrase mind your business, April 1st, and National 1 Cent Day all have in common? The answer is the penny, which we recognize on National 1 Cent Day. Do you know, here's a fun fact about where I'm from. Illinois toll roads, if you, actually, I don't even think they have baskets anymore, but back in the day when you would put your money in the basket and, you'd have to pay your tolls by throwing your money into the basket. Illinois was the only state in the union that would accept pennies in their toll booth baskets. I mean, I think at some point they all did, but then they all kind of got rid of the pennies because it's a nuisance coin. And Illinois was the only state left where you could grab a handful of pennies. Like if you had, I just had hundreds of pennies just in my glove box, right? With the center console. And I would just reach into the toll booth and I would throw the pennies in and then it would count all the pennies. And if the thing went up, it went up. If it didn't go up, I'd just reach in and grab more pennies and throw them all in. And it would count them. And that's why. Why is Illinois the, because we're the land of Lincoln and Lincoln is on the penny. That's a fun fact. All right. So that's it. That's what today is. Ross says that bread is more mouth shredding than Captain Crunch. The Schlotzsky bread, do you think so? I don't know. I like the Schlotzsky bread. I think maybe you're eating old, stale Schlotzsky sandwiches. Let's see here. What is the knock on Schlotzsky's? Since we're talking about Schlotzsky's, it says Schlotzsky's is very polarizing. What's the knock on them? Is it the bread? Because the bread is the truly unique aspect of the Schlotzsky sandwich, and I happen to love the bread. So, on this day in 1970, President Richard Nixon signs the Public Health Cigarette Smoking Act into law. That's where we started to see the Surgeon General's warning and all that kind of stuff on our cigarettes. That's probably why it's National Take Down Tobacco Day. Will says, I'm not a fan at all of Schlotzsky's, and yes, it's the bread that's polarizing. Yeah, I can see that. See, but you know what's not polarizing? See, I don't think it's too much bread. Will says it's too much bread ruins a sandwich. Oh, hell, it's not too much bread. It is the perfect amount of bread, and it's delicious, in my humble opinion. I hate Subway. People, I've had Subway maybe just a handful of times in my life. And people are like, really? Why would you hate Subway? It's so convenient. They're everywhere. And I go, yeah. Every time I walk into a Subway, I want to vomit. The smell in every Subway is just, I don't know if it's the yeast. I don't know what it is. It's definitely a bready kind of smell. But whenever I walk into a Subway, bleh. So in 1970, Richard Nixon on this day signed the Public Health Cigarette Smoking Act. Have you ever traveled internationally and you've been to like a duty-free shop and you see like cigarettes, be the way they're sold in like, Europe or whatever? They took this Surgeon General's warning and they went hard with it. I mean, here it's just the Surgeon General of the United States warns that cigarette smoking, and it's like, you can totally avoid it. You don't even have to look at it. We take it for granted now. It's on every cigarette package. You don't pay any attention to it. But in Europe, like European cigarettes, they have like a giant skull and crossbones, a picture of a diseased lung. I mean, they really go hard on the, are you sure you want to buy this? Because this is what's going on inside of you, which is, I don't know. It can't possibly be more effective because every time I see a depiction of people in Europe, they are chain smoking. People in Europe smoke more than any other group of people on the planet other than possibly people in Turkey or people in Southeast Asia. That's it. That's people in Southeast Asia. Like here's a live shot of Vietnam, and it'll be like a bunch of 5-year-olds just chain smoking. It's crazy. And Turkey. It's like in Turkey. I don't think I've ever seen an image of a Turkish person in like Turkey who didn't have a cigarette in their hand. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. Let's see here. Ross says, when I first moved to DFW, I would grab the quarters all over the ground that didn't hit the tollway baskets. Yeah, sometimes they've got to. Adam says, sometimes you can make a little money. How about fountains? Did you ever go fountain diving, Ross Rubio? Adam says Slotsky's is good, but it's not as good as Jersey Mike's, Jimmy John's, and Firehouse. I don't put them in the same category. They're not in the same category. See, I make a distinction between sub sandwiches, which is the sandwiches that come on the long bread, and just a regular. I think Slotsky's is in a category all to its own. Is a Slotsky's original as good? My question would be: is a Slotsky's original as good as a Jersey Mike's Big Kahuna? And honestly, it just depends on how the wind is blowing that day for me. I think they are both stellar sandwiches. Jeff Glenn says sourdough starter is easy to make. Just put some water and flour in a jar and leave it uncovered on your top of your fridge. Then every day throw a little more of each in the jar and stir it about 10 days. Look at Jeff. Jeff is like Jeff is interesting culinarily because he knows a lot of things about how to cook stuff, but then he eats fish out of Lake Louisville. So it's like, the good with the bad. On this day in 1977, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak found Apple Computers, Inc. Whatever happened with that company? That company make it? Or was that one of the small businesses that fail every year? I don't know. On this day in 1979, Iran becomes an Islamic republic, officially overthrowing the Shah of Iran. On this day in 1984, singer Marvin Gaye is shot to death by his father in his home in Arlington Heights, Los Angeles. That was a big deal. That was a really big deal. He was like a big star and shot by his father. That was I'm not even entirely sure of the details of that. I've heard the details, but I think I black them out because maybe they don't reflect so well on Marvin Gaye, and I really like him. 2001, same-sex marriage becomes legal in the Netherlands, the first country to allow same-sex marriage. 2001, the Netherlands, look at them, head of the curve. Now basically every civilized nation allows it. In 2004, here's another one of these small businesses that I never heard of them again. In 2004, Google launched its email services called Gmail. Did that go to the way of Alta Vista? Did that go to the way of Jeeves? I don't know. Whatever happened with Gmail? Is that still a thing? Of course it is. You're being silly. How about some birthdays? Some birthdays today. Born on this day in 1949, Paul Manafort. American lobbyist, political consultant, world-class scumbag, convicted felon. That's what it says here. I added the world-class scumbag, but convicted felon is in here. 1950, born on this day, Justice Samuel Alito, the United States Supreme Court. Happy birthday to him. Born on this day in 1961, Susan Boyle, Scottish singer. She remember when Susan Boyle was like, isn't there something, doesn't she have an affliction? Like, wasn't that the whole reason we all went, when we saw that viral video of Susan Boyle when she was on, I don't know, hey, guess what? You can sing. I don't even know what that show is called, whatever it is. But she came out and she looked like a dowdy housewife, not even a housewife. She wasn't she like, well, I thought she was mentally retarded. I thought that was the big deal. I thought it was because she came out, I remember thinking, oh, that's so wonderful. She's mentally retarded and they're going to let her sing. And then she sang and she's like the world's greatest opera singer. She's like this. Susan Boyle is a direct confirmation of my belief that the greatest singer in the world is probably a plumber in Akron. The greatest actor in the world probably sells insurance in Tulsa. being in the arts, being somebody whose talent is globally recognized as being top tier, is all about opportunity, and it's all about breaks. And the prettiest girl in the world's most beautiful woman, might be working at a CVS in New Jersey. I mean, it's just, they just haven't been discovered. They just haven't been found yet. Susan Boyle was a great example of that. Susan Boyle was somebody who came out on that show, and she looked like, just, oh, we're not going to take her seriously. And then she opened her mouth and she sang, and it was like, whoa, this is, and now she's like a big star. Susan Boyle sells albums. She does opera. She's legit. She is legit. That show changed her life in ways that she probably didn't even allow herself to dream. But I don't know. Is there something wrong with her? Is there something wrong with Susan Boyle? Al says, no, she's just a little frumpy. Her affliction was ugliness, a real spinster. Wow. She totally looks different now, like, because she's got money and she's wealthy, and I mean, she's still heavy and she still looks like an older woman, but she's got good hair and she wears fur coats, and she's changed. Lots changed for old Susan Boyle. Enjoy your birthday, Susan. Good for you. No hatred here. Good for you. Born on this day in 1973, Rachel Maddow, who for a period of time was one of the most watched people on television. She was the only thing that people were tuning into MSNBC about. And at the very height of her power and influence, Rachel Maddow said, yeah, I'm just going to work one day a week. I'm done. I am... most people wait till they've, done like 30 years of television to go that route. But yeah, so Rachel Maddow, happy birthday to her. Born on this day in 1973, American journalist, author, television host. She is, they're trying to fill breaking and trending news on that. They're trying to fill her slot. Do stay tuned. We do have some information on who is potentially going to be taking Rachel Maddow's show. Born on this day in 1980, Bijou Phillips, American actress and model, stricken from birth with the affliction of being the super creepy, probable pedophile, child molester, incest enthusiast, John Phillips' daughter, which can't be good for anybody. Also born on this day, Logan Paul. Logan Paul, I don't know, which one are you? I don't know. Isn't there like a Petey Paul, a Logan Paul, a Herman Paul? I don't know. He's one of those Paul guys. They're both obnoxious. They're both total douchebags. They're both worth more money than I will ever see in a lifetime. So happy birthday to you, one of the ridiculous Paul people. Died on this day, Marvin Gaye. We covered that. Very sad. Died on this day in 1984. Died on this day in 2010, John Forsyth. John Forsyth, handsome man. Silver Fox. John Forsyth, he was the voice of Charlie on Charlie's Angels. Hello, Angels. He was that guy. He was the guy in the box. I think he may have appeared once, like they may have shown him once. And I also think that John Forsyth was on Charlie's Angels, like as an Easter egg. Like, even though he was always the voice of Charlie, I believe he was in like a scene. There was like a party scene where there were a bunch of people in the background. And I think John Forsyth was one of the people in the background. And if you knew he was Charlie back in 1978 and you knew who John Forsyth was, you probably went, hey, look, that's the guy. It's Charlie's there. Except he was just blending into the background. He was just playing a anonymous party guest. He then went on to be Blake Carrington on Dynasty, one of the great television characters of all time. I didn't watch Dynasty, but they tell me Blake Carrington was a great character. Blake Carrington, John Forsyth, the actor who played him, died on this day in 2010 and died on this day in 2018. One of the most prolific television creators, writers, and producers of all time, Stephen Bochco. Stephen Bochco died on this day in 2018 of leukemia. He had leukemia. All right, so that's it. Now we've covered the deaths. We've covered the births. Will says, Paul, people with first names as their last names can't be trusted. Bill Folk suggests that he's Ron Paul's kid. I don't think that's true, but let's go with it. The most beautiful woman in the world is in our other room taking care of our son. Oh, Will. Look at Will. A shout out to his mistress or wife. I don't know how Will lives. Okay, so trending number one. Let's just start off with all the stupidity. April Fool's Day. April Fool's Day is trending, and people are. It's a difficult day to do trending topics because I don't participate in April Fool's Day. I hate it. I hate being tricked. I am just. Here's my apprehension about this April Fool's Day. I anticipate that at some point today, my son will reach out to me and he will text me or give me something upsetting. It's going to be something that's upsetting. And then he's going to go, April Fool's Day. And I'm going to go, you know what? You're too immature for April Fool's Day. You don't understand that the purpose of April Fool's Day isn't to make somebody upset or to make somebody, don't do that. Don't be vicious with your April Fool's joke. But he doesn't have that barometer yet. He doesn't understand. Hey, Dad, guess what? I've been kicked out of school, which for him is a real possibility on any day, not just April Fool's Day. He's a good kid. He's a very good kid, but he's too smart for his own good. And he uses his brain and his guile and his cleverness and his manipulation abilities. And his manipulation abilities are great. Oftentimes to, people say about their kids, they look at them, and especially when they're impressed with their ability to solve problems and, be clever or smart, they look at their kid and they say, you know what? We've either got a senator here or we've got a bank robber. I think I got a bank robber. I think I got a kid who's going to use all of his skill to figure out a way to commit the perfect bank robbery. And I worry about that. But he's got good parents, and everybody's going to try and circumvent those devious sort of thoughts that he has. It is April Fool's Day, so I'm not looking forward to that. By the way, do I seem like I have a little less energy? I think that the 1,000 calories a day is taking its toll. Because I'm like, I think I need to bump it up to maybe 1,300 calories. I think I'm on a diet where I'm only doing 1,000 calories a day and running 3 miles a day. And today's the first day where it's like hitting me, where I'm like, not a lot of energy. I don't know how to fix that. Just do a line of cocaine before I do the show, and that'll be fine. Then we'll be good. Bank robbers are way cooler than senators, Ross Rubio says. Yeah, probably. And anyway, he's going to be able to make something of himself using his brain because he's really clever. He's creative and he's smart. Oh, go ahead. Talk more about how great your kid is. As I always say, my kid is better than yours. You think your kid is great? I'm sure you do. Mine's better. April Fool's Day is a treat for jokers around the world as they are given the annual free pass to play practical jokes, and it's just so exhausting. The unofficial holiday, which lands on April 1st every year, is consequently one of the weirdest in the calendar. This day frequently involves everything from spontaneous pranks to the most elaborate planned hoaxes. Have you guys in the chat room, have you seen any pranks yet today? Have there been anything? I put up a thing on Twitter where I said, all right, tell me your pranks. What pranks have you seen today? Because I don't know that I've seen any yet. But then again, like I said, 1,000 calories, I'm not really sharp today. I'm not. This day, there we go. So as the first of the month approaches, find out some of the greatest practical jokes played on this day. All right. History, strangest April Fool's pranks. Okay, let's look at this, shall we? All right, here we go. So these are some of the most effective April Fool's pranks of all time in history. On this day in 1698, did you know April Fool's Day goes all the way back? It does. Some say it goes all the way back to the Romans. Some say it goes back even further to the Greeks, but we'll see. On this day in 1698, the Tower of London's Lions Wash. On this day in 1698, it was advertised that the Tower of London was going to wash lions, which caused scores of people to show up on April Fool's Day to see the spectacle, which didn't actually happen. Now, that's kind of a twofold fool, right? Because they're going to wash lions. Hey, we're going to wash these lions in front of the tower. And then you go to be there to see it. I don't want to be close to that. Cats hate water. That's not going to be, that has the potential for some people to be eaten. And I don't know if I want to be in the crowd of people who want to, be in close proximity to that. Number two, greatest April Fool's prank in history. Constantine's King for a Day joke. A Boston University professor convinced the press that Constantine, the emperor, when he ruled the Roman Empire, allowed a group of jesters to make one of their own king for a day. Okay, apparently Constantine didn't actually do that. So the prank is that in 1983, a professor convinced the media that happened on April Fool's Day. The media, okay, whatever. I guess if you, whatever. Spaghetti tree. Here's a famous one. This is the one that I always hear is like the most famous April Fool's joke. Well, it even says it here. Perhaps the most famous April Fool's joke was the 1957 broadcast by the BBC program Panorama, showing a family in Switzerland harvesting spaghetti from a spaghetti tree. Yeah, the BBC convinced people in England in 1957 that spaghetti grew on trees in Switzerland. And apparently, everybody fell for it. Everybody went for it, because I've heard of that one. That was actually, I learned about that one in college in a media class, about the power of the media to completely flip people out. John Partridge death hoax. Satirist Jonathan Swift predicted the death of one of his rivals, John Partridge, who Swift regarded as a fraud for publishing false information in almanacs. Swift published Partridge's death notice on March 29, 1708. Partridge declared he was alive, but the public didn't believe it until they saw him. In 1749 in London, it was advertised at an upcoming show that a man would squeeze himself into a bottle. The show filled up, people bought tickets, but no one was there to entertain the audience, and they rioted, and people died. So there you go. Number 6, the Master Marauders. In a parody of the so-called supergroup phenomenon, rock journalist Greil Marcus wrote a review in 1969 of an album by a non-existent group called the Masked Marauders. This non-existent supergroup featured Bob Dylan, John Lennon, Mick Jagger, Paul McCartney, and George Harrison. So there you have it. People thought that was a real thing. In 1996, Taco Bell announced that it had purchased the Liberty Bell to help with the U.S. national debt. They, in fact, did not purchase the Liberty Bell. Here's a good one. Oh, man, the Brits seem to have good ones. In 1980, London's Big Ben clock prank. In 1980, the British Broadcasting Corporation announced that the clock on London's iconic Elizabeth Tower, better known as Big Ben, would be going digital. See, because that's believable. That's actually believable. That, in modern times you would want to update, but I'm sure that people completely freaked out about that. And in 1992, NPR ran a spot announcing that former President Richard Nixon was running again for office. That was in 1992. So there you go. April Fool's Day. Such a beatdown. Let's see here. Adam says, LeBron said he was out for the season. That's the only joke I know of, but he basically is. What are you going to do? Adam Reyna says, I was away for a bit. I have a first name for a last name. I guess I can't be trusted. Yeah, somebody in the chat room, some son of a bitch in the chat room, said that anybody with a first name for a last name can't be trusted. And ethnically speaking, I fall into that. So, but how does that rule apply now when we've got, people are now, it's now common for people to have last names as first names. I don't know. Let's see here. Oh, here's another one. Here's a good one. This was an April Fool's joke. Here's another NPR April Fool's joke that they did back in 2005. Or was it 2005? No, I'm sorry. I got that wrong. It doesn't say a date here. I don't know when this happened. It had to have happened in the Twitter era. So NPR published a tweet on Twitter on April Fool's Day. It can't be all that long ago. Where they announced a story. They had a linked story to their tweet that they had done. And the story was, why aren't Americans reading anymore? That's what the tweet said. And it got like thousands and thousands of people who responded to that tweet. Why aren't Americans reading anymore? And there was an article attached to it about why Americans weren't reading anymore. And like I said, thousands of people responded to the post of the tweet. And then when you clicked on the article, it said, "Congratulations, genuine readers, and happy April Fool's Day. We sometimes get the sense that people aren't commenting on NPR stories that they have actually read." So basically, it was one of those things where nobody reads the article. Everybody just responds and they go off on their tangents based on a headline because everybody's too lazy to actually read the article. Well, NPR pulled that joke. "Congratulations, genuine readers, and happy April Fool's Day. We sometimes get the sense that some people are commenting on NPR stories that they haven't actually read. If you are reading this, please like this post and do not comment on it. Then let's see what people have to say about this story." That's funny. That's funny. All right, let's get into some of the things that are trending today. Chris Rock is trending again. Of course, the story isn't going to go away anytime soon. There's going to be little droplets of information that come out regarding the slap that occurred at the Oscars on Sunday night. Chris Rock is doing a national tour. He's in the middle of a tour where he's doing these big theaters. And, he's one of America's great stand-up comedians. He's going out there, and this tour was planned before the slap, but now he's getting up in front of audiences, and he hasn't publicly commented to any great degree on the slap. I think he's working on some stuff. He knows that this is something that he's got that people want, and he's going to hold it back until he's absolutely sure how he wants to present it and what he wants to say. I said after the slap, he's going to have a whole new fresh hour of material. He is going to work this through. It's going to be like Bring the Pain. Bring the Slap is what he should call the next comedy special. Of course, based on his iconic and legendary stand-up special from 20 years ago, Chris Rock, Bring the Pain. An audience member yesterday, he's doing a couple of nights in Boston. He did the first one on Tuesday, and then I think Wednesday was off. And then last night he did a second show in Boston at the Wilbur Theater. And an audience member in the middle of his set shouted out, "F Will Smith!" And Chris Rock said, no. We're not going to go there. And then he repeated what he said the other night. "I have things that I want to say on this, but the time is not now." So there you go. Chris Rock just teasing us all along. And that's why he's trending, because Chris Rock shuts down. He didn't shut him. He just said, no, not now. He didn't. It's not like, but the way it was presented. And I read the article, by the way. That's how I know. The way it was presented in the headline was that someone said, "F Will Smith." And then Chris Rock was like, "No, let's not say that. He's a good man." That's not what Chris Rock did. Although the headline leads you to think that's what he did, because that would be shocking. And that's why people would click on the story to read it. He didn't say that. Somebody shouted out, "F Will Smith." He said, no. To suggest not now. There will come a time when I may encourage you all to shout out "F Will Smith," but no. I'm going to sell a whole new batch of tickets for the shows that I do concerning that topic. You people, unfortunately, bought tickets to a show that I wrote before the slap. All right, so I talked about Rachel Maddow, how it's her birthday, and how she kind of left MSNBC high and dry after being the only thing that people were watching on that sad sack network. Jen Psaki White House press secretary has announced that she is leaving the White House. This is typical. This happens. I mean, look at how many Trump had. Didn't Trump have like 5 press secretaries? And that's not just because it was Trump either. They leave. It's a beatdown. That's a rough job. It's a high profile job. It allows you, once you leave that job, to have any number of really kick-ass jobs in the corporate world. And Jen Psaki is leaving the White House, and she has announced that she is signing on with MSNBC when she leaves the White House. That has led to everybody. This is why Rachel Maddow is trending. Well, it's a birthday, but it's also trending because it is now believed that Jen Psaki is going to be the person who replaces Rachel Maddow at MSNBC. And Jen Psaki only got the job. Not only, I mean, she has, a resume, but one of the primary reasons that she was given the job as White House press secretary for the Biden administration is because of all of her television work. So it's not like, what, they're just giving people television shows? No, Jen Psaki has been a television pundit for a very long time. That's how we all came to know her. She was a regular on CNN. She made the rounds when she was working with campaigns. She's definitely good in front of a camera. I liked her. I liked her as a pundit. I like her as a press secretary. I love how she sort of has this calm about her when people just get stupid, because let's admit it, the media is really stupid, especially the White House press corps. Those people just live in the gotcha zone. That's all they want. That's all they want is gotcha. And there have been press secretaries over the years who do not handle it well. And Jen Psaki, what do they call the thing that trends all the time? Psaki bomb. Like whenever she shuts down something stupid, most notably that Peter Douchey guy, right? That guy from Fox News who is constantly asking stupid questions, who's constantly trying to be not serious about the stuff that's happening, but get her to say something that then Hannity and Tucker can get a good 60 minutes out of that night. She's pretty good. She's good. I like her. I like her vibe. I like she's smiley. I like, she's good. And she's competent. That's the thing about her. She seems like a very competent woman. Also, here's something that people always get angry at me when I say, and that is Sarah Sanders. Do you remember Sarah Sanders? Sarah Sanders was the best of the Trump press secretaries. I know that she was deceitful, but Sarah Sanders was competent. Like, she may have been doing battle for a side that you don't like, but Sarah Sanders did it better than any of them. I mean, she certainly did it better than Kayleigh McEnany, who was terrible at it. I mean, she was the worst. And it's hard to be the worst when Sean Spicer was also involved in this. Sean Spicer was terrible. And then Sarah Sanders came in and she held it down for the bulk of the Trump administration because she was good. And then she got out, and then they gave it to Kayleigh McEnany, who was terrible at it. So yeah, I think that I think Jen Psaki is competent. She definitely held it down. Be interesting to see who's coming back to replace her. I predict it will be a black woman. I predict we will see a black woman press secretary from the Biden administration. Don't know who it could be. Who could it be? Let's see. Who could it be? Because I'm going to go, let's look into television. Let's look at CNN, because honestly, they're not going to take anybody from, could it? No, it won't be. I was going to say, could it be MSNBC? Like, would they drag Joy Reid in? Because that's what they need to do. They need somebody who knows television to be able to stand up in front of that podium and understand where all of these television reporters are trying to go with these questions. They need to be astute in that particular realm of, provocative media. But it won't be that Joy, or that would be too crazy. She's terrible. What's her name? Joy Reid? Oh God. Won't be her. But it will be maybe you know who would be great? Who's the lawyer who fills in for it's going to be a black woman. It's going to be. It's absolutely 100% going to be a black woman. That seems to be what the Biden administration is leaning into, that promoting black women to positions. Nobody else has done it in history. So, who's the girl on CNN who fills in for Don Lemon? She is so good. She would make an incredible press secretary. What's her name? She's smart. She's a lawyer. She's like really, really bright, quick, funny at times. Can't think of her. If you guys know who she is, Whoopi. Yeah, let's trot out Goldberg up there. Yeah, no. Oh my God, she'd be terrible. I can't think of the girl's name. If you guys in the chat room know the girl I'm talking about, she's really great. As a matter of fact, she was the girl that when Alex Trebek died, just before he died, he was asked like who would he want to replace him as host of Jeopardy. And he said this girl. He said, oh, I think she's terrific. I think she would be an incredible host of Jeopardy. I think she'd be an incredible White House press secretary. So we'll see if that, I don't know. I just don't remember her name. Somebody in the chat room will. Somebody has to. All right, let's get into some local stories here. Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is trending again because, the whole paternity situation he's got going on. Let's delve into this, shall we? Paternity, no, not Mayim Bialik. Jesus, Al, come on. Is Mayim Bialik a black woman? You know what? Here, we're just going to do this. No, not Abby Phillips. Although Abby Phillips wouldn't be crazy. Abby, hold on. Who fills in for Don Lemon? You people. Laura Coates. There you go, Leslie. I said it first, but Leslie, because of the delay, Leslie knew it before I had to look it up. Laura Coates. That's her. Look, CNN management is high on Laura Coates and have increased her presence on the network over the past year. Coates hosts a daily radio show on SiriusXM. Because Coates routinely fills in for Don Lemon, she's also an option to succeed at 10 p.m. There you go. Laura Coates. She'd be the one that I would grab. I'd be like, what's Laura Coates doing? Does she want this gig? She would be great. I'm a big fan of Laura Coates. She seems fair. And she's not crazy. She's not like Joy Reid's crazy. Joy Reid is totally biased. Joy Reid has absolutely, I don't want to go into a whole Joy Reid takedown, but I can't stand her. Jerry Jones. The paternity lawsuit against Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones has been unsealed and outlines accusations by Alexandra Davis that Jones is her biological father and has tried to keep her quiet about it. The case is set for a non-jury trial on November 7th. Oh, so it's coming right up. According to a court order on the scheduling of the trial. The lawsuit seeks an advisory opinion saying that Davis is not bound by a deal Davis's lawyers say her mother signed for financial support in exchange for a promise to never disclose Jones as the father. The agreement, the lawsuit claims, requires Davis and her mother to never reveal that Jones is her father. Okay, so a little bit of backstory. So it is claimed that Jerry Jones cheated on his wife and knocked up some, ticket agent at a Little Rock, Arkansas airport. And I wish I was making that up, but I'm not. He knocked up a ticket agent, and the ticket agent got pregnant, and the ticket agent was married. So the ticket agent at the time was cheating on her husband with young Jerry Jones. And when I say young, he was probably like 60 or whatever. So they were going through a divorce. The woman, the ticket agent, was going through a divorce with her husband because her husband was like, "You're cheating on me." And she's like, "No, I'm not." And she was pregnant. And the husband was like, "That's not even my baby." And she's like, "Yeah, it is." And so they had one of them their paternity tests done. And it turned out that the father, the guy that she was married to, the guy that she was going through a divorce with, who said, "That's not even my baby," he was right. It wasn't his baby. She was cheating on him. And at that point, she said, well, then it's got to be Jerry Jones's baby. Because, she claims that that's the person that she was cheating on her husband with. That was the only person she was having sex with. So she goes to Jerry Jones, and Jerry Jones says, "That ain't my baby. That can't possibly be my baby. I had the tube. I had the things tied off. I had the snip job. I'm good. I am incapable of impregnating a woman." Actually, I don't even know that Jerry Jones had that. I don't know that he's been cut. I just know that Jerry Jones told her at the time that I'm not capable of having children. He's got like 6. I mean, he's got a whole bunch of kids. So at some point, Jerry Jones was capable of impregnating a woman. But at the time, he claimed that it can't possibly be my baby. It's not my baby. That is not, no way I could knock one out. I can't have kids. But I'll tell you what, if we keep it secret, I'll pay for her entire life from here on out. Because we know that this is Jerry Jones's move, right? Like the cheerleaders were not spied on by Rich Dalrymple. The cheerleaders who brought the suit against the Dallas Cowboys organization for having creepers in the locker room while they were changing. Jerry claims that never happened, but he paid them all like $4 million anyway, just because he felt bad about it. Because Jerry Jones seems like an empathetic guy. Jerry Jones seems like the kind of businessman who just cuts checks to people who are trying to shake him down because he recognizes their pain and he wants to help them out. Oh, stop it. So Jerry Jones says, no way, that's my baby, but here, have all of this money for the rest of the baby's life. Right? Okay, so I'm thinking that Jerry kind of knew it was his kid. Jerry doesn't do that. Just like Jerry knows that Rich Dalrymple was creeping on the cheerleaders, but he's not going to admit it. He's just going to say, I'm going to pay him off because I'm a good dude. You're not a good dude, Jerry. You're not. You're a billionaire. You can't be both. You can't be a good dude and a billionaire. Although that Jeff Bezos ex-wife, she seems okay. But then again, she got her billions just by married to a guy who was probably awful. And then she went, you know what? You're awful. I want out of this. And he's like, okay, here, have like $100 billion or whatever he gave her. I don't know. She's got a lot of money. And she seems like she's doing good stuff with it. Let's see here. Davis, a 25-year-old. See, there are red flags all over this story for me. This is like I want to be on team baby girl, right? I want to be on team baby girl, who's now 25 years old. All her life, she's received a trust fund from supposedly Jerry Jones, although it's been filtered through his attorney. His attorney is actually the name on the checks because they want to keep Jerry out of it, right? One of those kind of deals. Rich guys have all of these end arounds. But there are red flags all over the story. As I say, I want to be on team baby girl, but she works for Rep. Ronnie Jackson. Remember the guy who can't even spell Ronnie properly? He was the former white. This is, oh God, he's the doctor who's like a super MAGA congressman now. And he was the president's doctor at the White House. And he's got problems with being drunk. Like he does all kinds of things. He's believed to be an alcoholic and has all of these, very weird credibility issues. But whatever, he's MAGA and Trump likes him, so now he's a congressman. Whatever. He's also a terrible doctor. This is where I first got sideways with Ronnie Jackson. Ronnie Jackson is the doctor who came out in front of the press and said that after completing a physical of President Donald Trump, that he is an impeccable specimen of health and masculinity. These are his words. And that he is probably the healthiest president we've ever had. And everybody's like, what? Healthiest president we've ever had? Barack Obama could dunk. What are you talking about? The healthiest president we've ever had. He's obese. He's technically obese. President Trump is technically obese. He exceeds the weight height thing. He's oh God, the healthiest president. Look, it's you just can't come out and you just can't say that. Yeah, he's fine. He's got a couple of things. We're going to work on that. We're going to bring his weight down a little bit. But that's what a real doctor does. That's what a real doctor doesn't lie and use hyperbole. Like, he's the healthiest president. He is an impeccable example of health and masculine. Oh, stop it. Stop. You're a doctor, for fuck's sake. What is wrong with you? You can't just come out and say, you have no credibility now. So, baby girl Bastardina or whatever. What's the female version of a bastard of Jerry Jones? She works for that dude now. So it's kind of like, okay. So she's, not all that credible. I mean, Davis, a 25-year-old aide to U.S. Rep. Ronnie Jackson, says she has only ever revealed Jones as her father during an FBI security clearance check to work in former President Donald Trump's White House, saying she was under oath during the interview with the FBI and had not had no choice but to identify Jones as her biological father. On all other forms during her life that have required her to identify her father, she has consistently and sadly written N.A. What forms in your life require you to list your father? Is that a thing? Because I have never had a father, and my father died when I was 6 months old. I do not ever remember having to. I mean, unless it's just something that I took for granted and I just skipped over it every time I saw it and I just put my mom's name. I don't require being, and I'm much older than 25, so I've filled out a lot more forms. I don't remember that, but okay. The lawsuit mentions health concerns for Davis's mother and says that she has feared losing financial support from Jones should she have ever told anyone who her father was. Jerry Jones' lawyer has responded to this. Jones's lawyer now claims in a legal response submitted to the court that all the allegations in the lawsuit are false, which means Jones is now saying, she's not even my daughter. Well, then where did all this money come? There's a money trail. You can trade. Well, that's not my money. That just happens to be money from a lawyer, my personal lawyer, who has one client, me. I mean, what does Jerry Jones think he's doing here? The smart thing for Jerry Jones to do would be, I mean, for public opinion at the very least, for Jerry Jones to say, you know what? She is my daughter. And it is high time. I mean, he's got more money than God. How much does she have to have? She is my daughter. I was a young man, made some mistakes. One of the great regrets of my life is not being in this child's life as she grew. She's a beautiful young lady. I look forward to trying to rekindle our relationship. You know, that's all he's got to do. That's all he's got to say is just shit like that. And then go Cowboys. You know, that's it. That's all Jerry Jones has to say. But no, he's there. They're going a different route. She's lying. She's not mine, which just makes him seem so awful, especially since the money trail is indisputable. The money. Oh, what do you mean it's indisputable? It stops dead at Jerry Jones' personal attorney who has no other clients. Just, it's the dude's job. Well, just because she's been paid X amount of dollars her entire life, doesn't mean it came from me. Oh, Christ. Okay. Yes, because we're all morons, Jerry. We're all. Jones's lawyer claims in a legal response submitted to the court that all the allegations in the lawsuit are false and that the court does not have the power to release Davis from the settlement because it doesn't exist. His attorneys demanded strict proof of every one of Davis's claims. What does she look like? Like, does she resemble? I mean, I've seen pictures of her, but I didn't really look at her that close. Like, is there an eye test? Like, can we get Jerry Jones's other daughters? You know, can we get a picture of Jerry Jones's other daughters and then a picture of this one who claims to be his daughter? And sure, they have different moms, but I mean, shouldn't there be some sort of telltale family resemblance in there somewhere? I mean, if she just completely looks like a different person, and I guess that's still possible, but does she have a little bit of a gerbil face? Because Jerry Jones has a gerbil face. Although that may be due to plastic surgery. Again, Jerry Jones has had so much plastic surgery, we don't even know what he really looks like anymore. We'd have to pull up a picture from like 1975 to really see what Jerry Jones looks like these days. Jones' lawyer said the lawsuit was filed after Davis's attempt to extort money from the Cowboys owner. Here's what the lawsuit says. Alexandra Davis says in the lawsuit that she was born after her mother, Cynthia, had an affair with Jones while working for American Airlines at an airport in Little Rock. See, Little Rock ticket agent. Spencer was pursued romantically. Spencer's the mom. Spencer was pursued romantically by Jones and had a relationship, Davis claims in her lawsuit. During divorce proceedings, Spencer's then husband had a court-ordered paternity test conducted and found that Davis was not his biological child. In 1998, when the divorce was finalized, it included a finding that Spencer's ex-husband was not Amanda Davis's biological or legal father. The lawsuit claims that as soon as Spencer found out that her ex-husband was not Davis's father, she told Jones that he was. Jones told her that he was not biologically capable of impregnating a female, which is weird. I mean, did he have the what do they call that? I don't know, the snip, whatever. See, I'm getting old. Certain words aren't in my head anymore. So is he saying that he had the snip or that he's biologically incapable of fathering children? Because he's got a shit ton of kids. That's, I'm old now. I can't have baby. What are you talking about? Just me. Apparently you can. Let's see here. Jones said that he was not biologically capable of impregnating a female. Spencer, the mom, and Jones then negotiated a settlement. Even though Jerry says there's no way it can be mine because I'm not capable, he still negotiated a settlement. Again, because Jerry Jones is a good guy who has empathy for people who are trying to shake him down. That's what we know. Apparently, Jerry Jones would rather be known as a soft touch than have to be screamed at by his wife. Spencer and Jones negotiated a settlement, which the lawsuit describes as hush money, in which Jones agreed to pay $27,000 to Spencer to resolve the divorce. Another $30,000 was paid to continue negotiations on the future of the child in good faith. When the settlement was finalized, Jones agreed to pay a one-time lump sum of $375,000 for confidentiality. And then he set up 2 trust funds by Jones for Alexandra Davis, according to the lawsuit. So these are the trust funds that this little girl grew up with, which is nice. It's nice to have a trust fund. From the trusts, let's see. Davis would receive certain monthly and annual special funding from the trusts until she turned 21. She's 25 now. After which she would receive annual lump sums at 24, 26, and 28 years old. The suit says the trust was established under the name of Jones' personal attorney and friend, Donald Jack. Donnie Jack, hey, get Donnie Jack in here. He has yelled that numerous times from his office. Get Donnie Jack on the phone. I watch Dallas. I know how these people are. The suit says the trust was established under the name of Jones' attorney and friend Donald Jack to hide Jones' identity. The settlement included a requirement that the then 1-year-old Davis and her mother never claim or mention that Jones was Davis's father, and prohibited both Spencer and Davis from using Jones' name under threat that the money would be cut off. All right, so I guess here's the big. We talked about this when the story first broke about a month ago. The big deal now that is happening today or yesterday, last night when the story broke, is that Jones is now saying, nope, never, not me, not ever. Here's the really gross thing about it. We all agree. Look, I don't want to hear from you. We all agree that Jerry Jones is the father of this kid. We all know it. It seems obvious. I mean, come on. Jerry Jones cheat on his wife? What? And then we flip through all of the years of pictures that have gone viral of Jerry Jones hanging out with strippers and bathrooms at steakhouses. Oh, no way, that guy. No way. Jerry Jones seems like a one-woman man. No, he really doesn't. Jerry Jones seems like he's capable of the most debauched situations that could ever be created by having $1 billion. Jerry Jones does not strike me as a pious and morally anchored individual. He's a bad guy. Jerry Jones is a bad guy. A fun bad guy. He's a fun bad guy. He's like if you were Jerry Jones's friend and he liked you, you would have fun with Jerry Jones. But if you were Jerry Jones, if you just were somebody that Jerry Jones decided that he wanted to ruin your life, he would have absolutely no qualms whatsoever about it. He would just crush you. He's that kind of guy. That's the way he's. How about them Cowboys? All right, The Walking Dead is trending. Why is The Walking Dead trending today? Because, and I didn't know this, I used to be a fan of The Walking Dead. I watched like the first 4 or 5 seasons and then I stopped watching, and I don't know why I stopped watching. There's no real, it's not like I was like, this show sucks now. That wasn't it at all. It's just, I kind of fell off it. I think I had my fill of zombies. I think at some point, maybe around 2017, I decided that I was done feeding the zombie fire that seemed to take over culturally our country and the globe. I just stopped watching it. Now, that doesn't mean that at some point I won't jump back in. There's probably an opportunity for me coming up in the not too distant future where I will just reinvestigate the entire series. I will start from episode 1, season 1, and I will just watch the entire series run. But they're in the 11th season now, and it's over. The Walking Dead is trending because they have filmed the last scene of the Walking Dead series. 11 years. 11 years this show went on. I don't know, but like I said, I stopped watching after season 4, season 5. Somewhere in there is when I just fell off. I just fell off. Not because I didn't enjoy it, not because it was just, I don't know. Maybe it may, you know what? Maybe it coincides with the radical change in the way I watch television. Because I used to watch Walking Dead weekly when it would come on. I would watch it. I'd watch an episode, and then I'd wait a week, and then I'd watch the next episode. But then maybe my drop-off coincided with discovering binging and on-demand television and things that you could watch whenever you wanted. So I don't know. I really don't know. I think I thought it was a great show for the seasons that I watched it. I just kind of lost interest. So it's over. It's over now. They filmed the final scene, the 11th season. I guess there's a couple of spinoffs, right? There's I don't know. It's an industry unto itself, The Walking Dead. So there you go. That's why it's trending. Jim Carrey is trending today. Jim Carrey is trending. A couple of days ago, he was trending as well. He was trending because he went with Gayle King in an interview, and he basically said that Will Smith, he took off after Will Smith. He went hard. He went hard on Will Smith, and he went hard. And I said at the time, I go, Jim Carrey doesn't need to be, worried about blowback from Hollywood. Jim Carrey's Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey is a Hall of Fame Hollywood movie comedy star. If Jim Carrey never did anything else, like if they said, Hollywood, if Hollywood was like, Will Smith is important and we're going to rally around Will Smith, because that's the reason I think a lot of people aren't really taking off after Will Smith, because they know what kind of power Will Smith has in Hollywood. Whether or not he still has that power is yet to be seen. Did the slap sort of cause him to? He lost his agency. That's a story that's breaking as well today. Not his agency. I'm sorry, I don't want to misrepresent it. One of the major management agencies in Hollywood today announced that they would cease working with Will Smith, which means that if they develop a film and Will Smith wants to star in the film, they're not going to let Will Smith star in it. It also means that if Will Smith has a film and Will Smith wants a particular actor or actress to be in the film with them, if this very large management company in Hollywood has the rights or is signed to a deal with that star that Will Smith wants, he won't get them. They are cutting ties completely with him. So that is the first sign of some kind of professional industry backlash against Will Smith. So when Jim Carrey, said all of this stuff, people were like, here's what we know. Jim Carrey ain't afraid of Will Smith. Jim Carrey is comfortable just saying what he feels about this whole thing. Well, now today comes news. Maybe there's a reason why Jim Carrey was completely comfortable going hard on Will Smith in the interview with Gayle King. Jim Carrey has announced that he is retiring. He is retiring from filmmaking. He's retiring from Hollywood. Jim Carrey is retiring after a 45-year career. Quoting him now, "I've done enough, and I have enough, and now I just want to stop." Carrey also says that this doesn't mean that if I'm ever presented with something that I'm really excited about, that I really want to do, or that I feel is worthy, that I won't do it because I'm retired. But what this means is I will no longer just be taking scripts because I want to work and because I don't want to work. He doesn't want to do it anymore. He's just fine. If something comes across his plate in 5 years is the timeline that he said, something comes across in 5 years that really gets me excited and really makes me want to do a project, then I will absolutely do that. But as for right now, consider me retired. Jim Carrey, no more Jim Carrey. I like Jim Carrey. I like Jim Carrey as a dramatic actor. Jim Carrey is a really funny comedian. Like he's a great comic actor, but I really like him as a dramatic actor. That Spotless Mind movie that he did was that a heavy movie. the Man on the Moon, the Andy Kaufman movie where he plays Andy Kaufman. That's a comedy. No, it's not. No, it's not a comedy. Just because it's about Andy Kaufman doesn't mean it's a comedy. It's actually a very serious movie about the life of Andy Kaufman. He's a very good dramatic actor. And I don't know, maybe that's the next time we see him, maybe that's only the kind of stuff that he does. But I certainly don't think we'll ever see an Ace Ventura or a Fire Marshal Bill, Dumb and Dumber type thing from him again. Jim Carrey announcing today that he's retiring from Hollywood after 45 years. Will C says Will Smith is done. Chris Rock played it perfectly. I do think Chris Rock played it perfectly. I don't know that Will Smith is done. I don't know that Will Smith is done because I think that he's too popular. I think that by the reaction of the people who were on Team Will Smith, just shows how popular he is. Zoe Kravitz, who's one of the hot young actresses in Hollywood. She's the Catwoman. She's the daughter of Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet. Beautiful young actress, got a lot of work. She is just getting destroyed online because she had the nerve to say that Will Smith slapping Chris Rock was wrong. And so I don't know. I don't know if Will Smith is done. I think that there are certain indicators, like I said, the management firm that today said they will no longer be involved in any projects or working with Will Smith. I think that's an indicator that some things are going to change, but I don't really know. You want to know who I really think is going to take the brunt of this in Hollywood? I think Jada. I think Jada is the one that's going to take the main brunt of this because Jada's career wasn't that great anyway. She is most famous these days for doing an online Facebook talk show. That is not the realm of the A-lister. That is not, there isn't a Leonardo DiCaprio Facebook talk show. Will Smith doesn't do one. We'll just put it that way. So Jada, who's never really had the career, she was an actress and she got some work and all that, but she was never more than like a B-lister. That's probably the height. Jada is probably the one that's going to receive the most backlash professionally. Any roles that she might have wanted to do, people are going to be more comfortable going, yeah, I don't think I want to work with her. She didn't come off that well. So I think that moving down the path, if somebody wants Will Smith in a movie, Will Smith's going to be in that movie. I think Will Smith is a proven box office talent, a draw, I should say. And I think that he's a proven dramatic talent as well as a proven comedy talent. Look, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, and that was a shitty thing to do. And it tells us more about who the real person Will Smith is and how he manages his emotions and all that kind of thing. But that doesn't take away the fact that Will Smith is an undeniably talented superstar. He really is. He can do comedy. He's, until recently, was so likable. He does drama well. He can sing and dance. He's a music performer. And people forget that Will Smith was a big music star long before he ever decided that he was going to start being an actor. Now we think of Will Smith as an actor. But Will Smith has tons of hit records as a music performer. So I don't know. I think that he has a fan base, and I think that I think that he'll probably be fine. I think we may see a drop off in the short term. Like there may be a couple of things that, he doesn't do. Like he maybe won't be showing up on Jimmy Fallon. He maybe won't be going out and, being with Ellen or whatever. But I think Will Smith will ultimately be whatever Will Smith wants, whatever he wants. I personally, who used to never really have an opinion on Will Smith other than the fact that I would freely acknowledge that he's a mega talent. He truly is, can do everything. But I had no real take on him. I was like, hey, what do you think of Will Smith? I'd have been like, yeah, he's all right. Yeah, Will Smith is fine. Will Smith is not a guy that, like, if I saw a movie and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I want to see this, and then it said starring Will Smith, where I'd go, oh, well, now I definitely want to see it. That tipped it over for me. Will Smith is, but for a lot of people, it is. Will Smith was and always has been a big box office draw for certain people. Not for me. But again, that doesn't mean I hate him. That just means I'm like, yeah, okay. Oh, Will Smith, isn't it cool? Okay. I'm sure that's fine. Let's see. Is this going to mean a lot more work for Jamie Foxx? Because Jamie Foxx has kind of fallen off a little bit. And I've always thought Jamie Foxx and Will Smith were kind of, if there was a cattle call for a role, it's like you would have Will Smith and Jamie Foxx standing next to each other. And the director would go, do I want Will Smith or Jamie Foxx for this role? Jamie Foxx, also a mega talent, incredibly talented guy. Maybe Jamie Foxx gets all the best stuff now. I don't know. Okay, so here's a little weird weed run that we're going to get into. Maryland, the state of Maryland, they have a key vote today with a key deadline looming. Maryland Senate approves legalization of marijuana in the state of Maryland. New Mexico is also trending today for much the same reason. New Mexico has opened up a cannabis store right there on the border with Texas. So, people in that area of Texas, the borderlands, if you will, if they want to go and buy some weed, they can just cross over into the border. And then as soon as they cross the border and they become an active member of a state's legal economy. And then when they turn around and head back over the border, they become a criminal who can be thrown in jail. See, that's the absurdity of these non-federal laws. Let's see here. Oh, and then of course, here's the next one. U.S. weed. Did the vote happen yet? I don't know. I haven't been on Twitter in the last hour. And quite frankly, haven't been on Twitter in the last 2 hours that didn't concern Craig Kimbrell. The House of Representatives passes landmark. This is the United States federal. The United States federal, at the federal level, the United States House of Representatives has passed landmark marijuana legalization bill. So there we go. We have it. That is the update. The House passed legislation Friday that would legalize marijuana nationwide, eliminating criminal penalties for anyone who manufactures, distributes, or possesses the substance. Lawmakers approved the measure 220 to 204. Wow, that's 204 people who voted against it who just simply do not have their pulse on the culture of modern America. It was a largely party line, which is distressing. Republicans Tom McClintock of California and Matt Gaetz and Brian Mast of Florida are the Republicans who voted in favor of the legislation. Say what you will about Matt Gaetz. He knows what the average person thinks. He knows Matt Gaetz is so tuned into the average dummy on the street that he understands that the legalization issue is a non-part. It's like the one issue in this country that is truly, when you draw the curtain and go in to vote, it is nonpartisan. It is people on both sides of the aisle now overwhelmingly want this to be legalized. Who doesn't? Well, the people who get a lot of money from the pharmaceutical and the alcohol and tobacco industry lobby. Those are the people, those are the representatives who are going to vote against it because for some reason, those special interests do not want marijuana legalized. The people do, but the legislation dubbed the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act passed in the House last year, but did not move forward in the Senate. This new bill, blah, blah. Okay, so the new one passed. Okay. In addition to decriminalizing marijuana at the federal level, this bill would establish procedures for expunging previous convictions from people's records and impose a federal tax on the sale of cannabis products. Now, right now, I can speak for the Illinois legalized cannabis market. The price of, if you were to buy so let's talk in stoner terms. So if you were to buy a quarter bag, a quarter ounce of weed from a guy, you got your guy, you go over to his funky apartment building and you buy a quarter bag for him. Before it was legalized, that would cost you about $50 or $60 in Illinois. Okay, so $50 or $60. That's if you knew the guy, maybe you get it for $45. Really terrible stuff you could get for $25, But if you wanted good hydro weed and you wanted to buy it at a quarter ounce, it would cost you $50, $50, $60. My guy was my guy I got for $50, but it's normal to pay $60. You want to buy a half, $120, $120 a half typically. Okay. So that's what it was on the illegal market. When it became legal and you could go into a store and you can shop and you could buy and all this kind of stuff. it was a little bit more expensive because the states put on, when the states made it legal, the states went, all right, but we're going to need to get our piece. So we're going to get like a 20% tax. So everybody was worried in Illinois, although we certainly do appreciate that we're no longer seen as criminals. We did have some apprehension about how much more expensive would it be at these stores because of the added tax. And I can tell you that in Illinois, it wasn't. In Illinois, it was because, see, the prices for the like if there was no tax on it at all, the price of a quarter legally in Illinois would probably be like $35 for the same thing that you were paying your dealer $50 or $60 for. So when they added the Illinois state tax onto it, it was essentially the same. It was basically the same. And here's what makes the legal buying of it better. Not only was it essentially the same price, but because these cannabis stores have actual businesses that make cannabis and compete with each other. You go and buy a bag of weed from your weed dealer when it was legal. You got the weed that weed dealer had. Here you go. Here's your bag. But what kind is it? I don't know. It's the kind I got. You walk into these stores now and it's all, what are you specifically looking for? What do you want? You want to just be relaxed? Do you want to be creatively pumped up? Are you a writer? Do you need to write? Do you just want to veg out and watch TV? There are all of these things that the bud tender, and yes, that's what they're called, bud tenders, and I love that term. There are all these things that the bud tender could direct you to. And because there were all of these different competing companies, they have sales. They have sales. So a new product comes in, and yeah, the typical price would be like, $60 with tax for your quarter ounce of weed, which is the same you'd pay for your illegal weed. It'd be $60. You could have this for 60, but we got this stuff on sale here for this week, and it's only 35 for the exact same amount, and it's just as good. That's the great thing about the legal market. Suddenly, there are things that are on sale. There are things that are discounted because, we're not moving this stuff, and it's about to go bad, so we've cut this stuff 50%. I'll take it. It's not going to sit in my freezer. I'm smoking it this weekend. Give it to me. So those are all like the benefit. Like people always talk about, the taxes, and you just wait till it becomes legal on the federal level because then they're going to offer a whole new kind of tax that's going to be placed on it. And you're going to have the state taxes and the federal tax. That's fine. That's fine. For federal legalization, if you want to, 5% tax? You want to add another 5% tax on it? That's fine. We can handle it. You know why? Because there's going to be sales. Because there's going to be competing weed companies trying to lowball the other people. It's just, the landmark legislation is one of the most important criminal justice reform bills in history, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said. And here's the problem. This is all happening in the House. But, we've got this crazy system here in America where now it's got to move on to the Senate. And politically speaking, it failed. The one that passed last year failed in the Senate because, the Republicans said no. No, not all of them, but enough of them so that the bill was killed. The Republicans need to recognize that all of the polling shows that people who vote Republican want this. And even more distressing to them is that the polls have showed that people who typically vote Republican will vote for a Democrat if the Democrat is the one that's on the side of this. This is a single issue. This is the single issue that the Democrats can wrap their arms around, just like the Republicans have wrapped their arms around the abortion issue. The abortion issue is the one targeted to single issue voters that will typically vote for the more conservative platform and the more conservative candidate. But this one right now is almost completely owned by the Democrats. And what the senators this time around, after this bill leaves the House and goes over to the Senate, and they'll tweak it and they'll turn it and they'll do whatever they need to do with it. But when it goes over there, what the senators, especially the Republican senators, need to understand is that they can dominate local elections. They can stop. You've got here in Texas, people say, nobody really wants Beto O'Rourke, but, he can win on this issue. He can win Texas. He can turn Texas blue by being the guy that is pro-legalization in this state. And what the senators at the federal level have to understand is that they have the power right now to take that wind out of Democrats all across the country. If the federal government decides, if the Republicans decide that, okay, let's vote with the Democrats on this, let's make it legal. If they make it legal on the federal level, people like Beto O'Rourke, who are running and counting on voters on that single issue, no longer have that single issue. I mean, this is a way to stop whatever fears of a weed, they're calling it the blue-green wave, whatever fears that they have at the federal level about a blue-green wave of Democrats being able to sweep into state houses based on the, because it's only the conservative red states that still don't have legalization. And again, understanding that the people in all of these states, almost across the board, are all like, it's fine, just legalize it. You know, my cousin, my little nephew is a wonderful kid. And, you know, he had to go to jail because he had a bag of weed. This is wrong. Even the conservative Republicans have been touched by the drug war, by the silliness, the waste of money, and the fact that if you've been anywhere in America culturally in the last 20 years, you have seen weed. You've been around it. You've seen people who are high. You no longer believe that you take one puff and you jump off the roof because you think you can fly. That's all bullshit. People understand that a puff of weed is no different. Even the most conservative people believe it. I mean, there's some older folks who are still, you know, damn dirty hippies. But even the most conservative people now kind of understand that, you know, weed isn't really any different than a glass of wine or a beer. And it is certainly not as heavy as like sitting there doing shots of tequila at the bar for 5 hours, right? I mean, so the senators, the Republican senators who last time killed this issue, we are coming up on midterm elections where a lot of state houses are in play. And they're only in play because the Democrats in all of these states, just like Beto is here, is campaigning on legalization, something that the right is not doing. That's how they can take back the state houses. And the senators in the United States Senate have the power to crush that. All they got to do is say it's legal nationally, and then suddenly that fight is over. It makes sense. But, you know, it makes sense, so it won't happen that way. It just won't. I don't know. So silly. Weed map is trending just in conjunction with this. Here, let me put this up for you. Get a look here. I don't think we've ever really investigated this. The weed map of where it's legal, where it's not legal. Here we go. U.S. weed map. I'll show it to you. And we can investigate what this says, looks, whatever. Here's where marijuana is legal and isn't. Okay, there we go. So there's the weed. Let's get it into focus here. All right, so here we go. So here is the weed map. Is it showing? It is. There it is. Okay, so dark green, we'll call it evergreen. Forest green is where recreational and medical marijuana is now legal in those states. You just a regular guy who wants to get high can go to the store and he can buy some weed. The lighter green, I don't know, it's almost like a seafoam green, is where CBD, low THC stuff can be sold for like, oh, my muscles are sore. They don't get you high though. They're not going to get you high. So that's Texas. Texas right here in Texas is represented in that group. The blue is where only medical is. And the other ones, they have no public program whatsoever. And you can see that those are completely inconsequential states. Those are the ones that have no public program. They're just stupid states that nobody wants to live in anyway. So really, screw them. The medical, there is no southern state, no conservative red southern state that has recreational marijuana legalized. And I'm telling you, that's not going to be good at the local level for elections because the people in all of these states, man, more people get high. I know. I have known for years, diehard, far right, conservative Republican voters in Texas who are big old weed heads. big old smokers. So you got all of this. You got all of this. Florida, these elections are all being contested by Democrats who are saying, I'm for legalization. And it's a popular issue across the board in all of these states. And maybe not in the churches and with the blue hairs and all that stuff, but forget them. They don't count anymore. They're not important. Texas, man, when Texas falls, when Texas goes this color green, boy, that's going to be big. And you know how much money is going to be made by people? There are people out there right now driving a shitty car, working a job they hate, who have big dreams, that when this shit goes green, goes evergreen, they're going to be millionaires. They're going to get one of those licenses. That's where the big corruption is going to come in. It happens everywhere because the state, well, actually, I don't know if it happens at the federal level. I don't know what will happen at the federal level. I know that at the state level, they held lotteries for people to get licenses to operate weed stores. And absolutely everyone who operates, those licenses, you get that license, congratulations, you won the license. You are now a multimillionaire. What do you mean? I just won a license. Oh, it's okay. You're about to be a multimillionaire because whatever business you open where you sell weed, you are going to have for at least the first 6 months that you're in business, you're going to need to hire extra security and you're probably going to have to pay something to the local police department because they're going to have to be directing traffic. But it's going to be like you are operating the first In-N-Out burger in Texas for 6 months. I couldn't go to a weed store in Chicago, in the Chicago area, for like 9 months. It took me about 9 months to finally get there because every time I thought, you know what, I want to go check this out, I want to go see this, I would drive by and there would be a line of 5,000 people waiting to get in. And they had digital signs that says entrance wait time, 5 hours, entrance wait time, 9 hours. And I'm like, nah, I don't need that. So I'm telling you, man, the Republicans are making a mistake. They are making a big mistake that could come back and bite them in the ass. All right, so that's why all the weed stuff is trending today. What else do we have here? Charles Barkley is trending. Why is Charles Barkley trending? Well, Charles Barkley is trending because he made a comment regarding the Will Smith, Chris Rock. Oh, everybody's got a comment. He made a comment regarding the Will Smith, Chris Rock situation. And he's on Team Chris Rock. Charles Barkley says, I love Chris. I love Will. But Will, don't get it wrong, was 100% wrong. Let's just leave it right there. I don't want to say any more. I have no interest in piling on. But again, I love Chris Rock, and I also love Will Smith. But Will Smith was 100% wrong. That's it. Unquote. Charles Barkley. So that was Barkley singing. Now he's trending because everybody's going, hey, Charles, you've been arrested like a bunch of times for beating people up in bars. You're like a violent guy. He's not anymore. For the last 20 years, Charles Barkley has sort of reclaimed some respectability. He's nice. He's funny. People enjoy him. He's a good talker. He's fascinating, funny. He knows basketball, but above and beyond that, he's got hot takes on just about everything. And people like Charles Barkley. I love Charles Barkley. Hated Charles Barkley as a player. Thought he was a punk, and I was always worried that he was going to injure one of my Jordan Bulls. But whatever. We got past it, and we won our ring. So, but the fact is that when Charles Barkley was a young man, Charles Barkley got arrested a lot for beating people up, for getting into fights. He would be in a bar and somebody would say something, hey, Chuck, you suck. And Charles Barkley would not contain himself. He would just walk up and punch a dude. And Charles Barkley's a big dude. Oh, really? He's an NBA player. He's big. No, Charles Barkley's a big dude. He's a big dude. He's not Patrick Ewing, but he's a big, wide dude. So that's why Charles Barkley is trending, because people are going, man, you beat people up. Yeah, but you know what he's never done? He's never just hauled off and smacked Ernie Johnson on the set of he's never hit Kenny Johnson. Charles Barkley has gotten into bar fights where people were drinking and, it wasn't on television in front of 1 billion people watching. Walmart is trending. This is an interesting sort of moral situation as to why Walmart is trending. Walmart is trending because a former Walmart employee he made a TikTok video where he talked about things that he did while he was at Walmart. Now, none of them were gross. Like he dragged his balls across the salads. No, he didn't do that. That's not. He basically said that when he worked at Walmart and when he worked the door, the person, ma'am, can I check your, I guess this only happens if you're black. Because honestly, I have never had someone stop me at Walmart and check my receipt. Look at me. I'm like a pudgy middle-aged white man. They just go ahead. Meanwhile, I got like, a couple $100 worth of steaks crammed down my sweatpants. But no, never. But I've seen it. I've seen them stop people. Never me though. Never me. I guess that's good. Although it is troubling that, hey, come on, check me, check my receipt. He said, this Walmart worker said that when he worked the door checking receipts, that he would regularly see people walking out with giant bulk items like baby formula and diapers. And he would check the receipt. And if the baby formula and the diapers were not on the receipt, he would just be like, have a nice day, go ahead. So he allowed people to steal baby formula and diapers from Walmart. And his justification is, here's the quote from him. Did I care? No, because I was making $11.50 an hour. Former Walmart door greeter says he would ignore customers who stole baby formula and Pampers. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. If you are stealing baby formula and Pampers, have them. Have them. It's freaking Walmart. Are you kidding me? That's not, first of all, if you are so desperate that you have to steal diapers for your baby, at least you're stealing something for your baby. If you're trying to steal like a case of beer because you want to get drunk in the parking lot, yeah, screw you, we're calling the police. But if you are somebody who feels the need that you have to steal diapers for your little baby, or you have to steal formula to feed your little baby, oh my God, come on. And he basically said it was because they paid me $11.50 an hour, and Walmart treats its employees like garbage. And when I see somebody who, I applaud that. I applaud that. I think that's great. Do you know that I accidentally stole, I've talked about this before, I accidentally stole a watermelon and a case of diapers from a store doing self-checkout. And I realized that I had stolen it. And I didn't turn around and go back in. I just went, okay, I made it this far. It looks like I got this stuff. Diapers were expensive, man. And what had happened was I was doing self-checkout. It's probably, God, my kid was still in diapers, so he's probably 2, so maybe 10 years ago. And it was at the Tom Thumb store right here in the Highland Park Cities area, the one at University in Inwood. There's a Tom Thumb, and I was using the self-checkout, and I had all the stuff in the cart, and I had the kid in the cart, and the kid was probably being an idiot, so he was like, distracting me from what I was doing. And underneath the cart, I had the box of diapers and a watermelon, right? And the kid is like being fussy, and I'm like, hold on, boop, 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 boop. And I'm scanning my own thing, and I got everything out of the cart, and then I hit pay, and I paid, and I put everything, and I walked right out. And as I got to my car, I realized as I'm loading the bags, and I looked under the cart before I put the cart back in the rack, because you always put the cart back in your rack. Don't be an asshole. God, you assholes who just leave your cart. They have the cart corrals every 10 feet. You fucking lazy shit person. Just walk the 10 feet and put your damn cart back. So before I was putting the cart back, I looked under and I went, oh my God, I didn't pay for these diapers or this watermelon. And then I immediately went, I'm looking around. I'm trying to see if maybe some Tom Thumb worker had followed me out and was standing there with his arms crossed looking at me. No, nothing. So I just went, okay, kiddo. And I put him in there and I closed the trunk. I grabbed the kid, got my ass out of there. I mean, I had the money to pay for the diapers, but still, it was like, I just felt like, I don't want to go back in there. That's white privilege. That is me not worrying that I would be caught, because I don't look like somebody that would do that. Oh, what is somebody who looks like that? Well, I think you can answer that question based on the way these things are enforced. Caitlyn Jenner is trending. She's trending because she was trending earlier in the week because she has been named as a full-time Fox News contributor. Caitlyn Jenner, I said that this is actually an interesting thing for Fox News to do, because what they're going to do, inadvertently or on purpose, they're going to some small degree normalize the idea of transsexuals. They are, by putting Caitlyn Jenner on the news every day, that Fox News audience is going to have to look at her. And you know what? Caitlyn Jenner is going to say some things that those people who hate trannies, those people are going to agree with. And it's going to be a very interesting sort of thing that's going to happen, because Caitlyn Jenner is a very far right pro. Yeah, you know what I mean? I mean, she is not, it's very confusing. Wait, she's trans and she's MAGA? How is that a thing? So it's a very interesting sort of thing. And by Fox News putting her on, and she's not just going to be like buried in the middle of the day on, somebody's stupid show. She's been signed to do regular shots on Hannity and Tucker. So she is right there. She's right there. Well, she made her first appearance on Hannity. Was it Hannity last night? Yeah. Caitlyn Jenner made her first of what will be a regular appearance on Hannity. And she is trending because she said, "I am trans, but I am not a trans activist," which, again, the lefties and libs were all like, she's the worst. But I'm telling you, big picture, having a trans person saying things like that to the anti-trans community is not in any great leap forward, but it is going to incrementally make people a bit more accepting of trans people. And I know that's hard to, because maybe it's not enough. And maybe your problem is that these people should be accepting already, but they're not. So that's the reality that we're in. They're not. What her presence will do, and again, I say this incrementally over time, is that she will, to some extent, normalize the idea that these people sometimes have ideas that you might agree with. So it's a very interesting hire by Fox News. We'll see how it plays out, but that's how it could go. Jeff Glenn says, I also try to grab a cart upon my way into the store. It irritates me to see people walk past 4 or 5 carts only to grab one when they walk into the store, because, again, I am better than you. Well, I go one step further, Jeff. I like to grab the carts that are in the store, and I don't know why, but I just do that. But I and my son, and I order him to do it. It's not like he's like this kind of like a decent human naturally. But as we walk through, I tell, put that cart over there. Go put that cart away. Go put that cart. And he runs and he pushes the carts and he puts them away. So we try to do our part. We try to pick up for the pieces of shit that occupy the shopping centers when we're there. Put the carts back. They got somebody who fetches them. Well, if that was truly the case, then why did they bother to erect all of these cart corrals conveniently in every row? There's never, how much of a lazy piece of shit who is just not going to participate in the way a civilized society runs? How big of that garbage human do you have to be to just leave your cart in the middle of the parking lot? Just leave it. It's 10 steps away, you piece of garbage. Just walk. I'm too lazy. Yeah, I could tell by the 5 bags of ding-dongs that you just bought, you piece of garbage. Put your cart away. What? It's right there for someone to take it. Put the cart away. But I like to walk in, and I like to, like sometimes there's like a cart dude there, like when you walk into the front of the store and then where they got all the carts, there's always like a cart dude, like maybe bringing some in or something. I like to go, all right, my man, point me towards the good ones. I don't know, a little joke like that, a little something, like I'm at a golf course or something, like he's my cart caddy. Like, cause that's the worst when you get a bad one and the wheel is like, that sucks. Give me a good one, friend. Let's see here. Caitlyn Jenner, we talked about her. Major League Baseball umpires are trending today because the Major League Baseball umpires, no, I guess that's not it. This season, Major League umpires will conduct in-park announcements during the replay. They're miking up the umpires the way that they mic'd up football referees. Football referees, play on the field, number 55, they do that whole thing. Well, now Major League Baseball umpires are going to be doing that in the case of replays and all of that. Until this point, you're like, well, what, they didn't do that before? No. Until this point, the Major League Baseball umpires for instant replays would go under the hood, and oh God, it takes so long. You think the NFL referees take forever to make? Oh, Major League Baseball umpires take forever under the hood. It goes up. But the way it had always resolved itself was with hand signals. Like, pretty simple. Either like that, he comes out from under the hood, he looks at it, or he comes out from under the hood and he goes. Or in the case of a contested home run, whether it was foul or a home run, he'll come out under the hood and he'll go. Those were the hands. Everybody in the stadium knows what those hand signals mean. Didn't really need to be mic'd up. But now Major League Baseball umpires are going to be mic'd up. Now, when will they be mic'd up? This is my question. Because right now it's just saying the instant replays and they're referencing the way NFL referees do it. But it is different. The role of the umpire in Major League Baseball is far more elaborate than that of the referee. I didn't say important. I said elaborate. Like, there is an opportunity to have the umpire now in Major League Baseball mic'd up for every conversation that he has with a batter at the plate, for every little, pitcher screaming at him like, come on, Blue, what are you looking at? Just pitch the ball. You can now. I hope they do that. That'll make it interesting. That'll be fun to watch, to hear the actual interactions between the umpire. NFL football, they don't have to do that because the referee just tries to stay out of the way, and he's not, the referee doesn't get into arguments with the quarterback after each snap the way a Major League Baseball umpire sometimes does with a pitcher or with a batter who feels like it wasn't. I want to see when a batter is arguing a ball and a strike, which you should never do. It's not a good sign in baseball, but it happens all the time. When a batter is arguing or has a problem with I want that mic. I want that ref or that umpire's mic open. I would love to. I want to hear that exchange. I want to hear what they're saying. Little conversations between the catcher and the umpire. I want to hear those. I want to hear, So there is opportunity here. Major League Baseball will not take advantage of these opportunities because Major League Baseball is run by the absolute worst people in all of major professional sports. And it's why Major League, you think the NFL, no, fun league, the NFL is booming. It is by far the most popular sport in North America. In America, certainly. There's no erosion to the fan base of NFL football. In fact, it's growing by leaps and bounds every single year. The NFL, you might have a problem with, the league office and the, the decisions that they make, but guess what? You still eat up that content. You just love NFL football. Baseball is not the same thing. Baseball is the real no fun league, and baseball has been declining for decades. So Major League Baseball, those people are the ones that need to go, yeah, let's mic up the umpires. Let's get that shit talking out there. Let's do it. Let's think of it the way, how interesting it is with people when they watch NASCAR or F1 and they love to hear the conversations between the driver and their pit crew, the back and forth. You could do an aspect of that in Major League Baseball and it would make the viewing experience. Think about how boring it is between pitches. There's like 30 seconds between every pitch where imagine you could tap into the umpire and you can just hear what the catcher's saying, what they're talking about, that would make the experience far more enjoyable. And that is exactly why Major League Baseball will not do it. Skippy is trending. Skippy peanut butter is trending because there is a Skippy recall. Apparently some cans of Skippy, jars, I guess. Some jars of Skippy have flakes of metal in it. So, there you go. Enjoy that. That seems really bad. Skippy has metal in it. Insulin is trending. Insulin is trending because the House has passed a bill. Again, it will go to the Senate and it will just die because there is no majority in the Senate, and all bills just die. The House passes a bill capping monthly insulin costs at $35. So we have a problem in this country with diabetes. Diabetes. We have a problem with all of us fat people who have been eating garbage for our entire life. We are all developing diabetes. Diabetes. We are all getting sick, and it's an epidemic. It is a serious epidemic. Diabetes is out of control in this country. Diabetes. And the pharmaceutical companies are, of course, oh boy, fat people. Let's take all their money. Let's bankrupt them on their insulin shots. So the House passed that you cannot, $35 a month. You can't, come on, be reasonable, people. Let's not take advantage of people who need this. Now, the argument to that is, well, they did it to themselves. And I guess the retort to that is, you're a piece of shit human being if that's honestly how you think. They did it to themselves. We're supposed to be empathetic. We're supposed to care for people. Yes, they did it to themselves. Yes, they're fat. Not in all cases did they do it to themselves, but yes, certainly a lifetime of an unhealthy diet and lack of exercise has led to them being in a state of diabetes at this point of their life. But, and again, I'm not even the Christian here, and yet I'm saying you got to care about people. You got to care about people the way Jesus did and not just throw them in the scrap heap of the world because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. Forget about it. Care about people. And this is a bill that actually cares about people. So, of course, 193 Republicans said, nope, no, we need to jack up the price of it. If we decide that fat people should have to pay $300 a month for a single shot of insulin, so be it, because they're fat. The legislation passed in the House 232 to 193. And it's just disgusting. It just shows how disgusting our political system is. Basically party lines. Basically, all the Democrats said, we're going to make sure these people can get their insulin shots without, bankrupting them. And virtually all the Republicans said, fuck those people. Okay. Have you ever seen a Trump rally? A lot of fat people. I imagine there's a lot of diabetes going on in that. It's in the stupid lefty liberals who are all into yoga and bullshit like that, right? So, again, it's one of those voting against your best interests kinds of deals. Cocaine penis is trending. I don't know if we want to talk about that. Some drug addict injected some cocaine into his penis, and his penis turned black. Yep, there you go. Gonna happen. Probably shouldn't be injecting cocaine into your penis. I don't know. But probably shouldn't be doing cocaine. But definitely you don't be putting cocaine into your penis. This happened in the Bronx. A man's penis turned black and released foul-smelling discharge after he injected it with cocaine. And that story comes to you from Business Insider because they're serious. Business Insider is a serious publication. It's for people who want to know what's going on inside business. Hey, how about this cocaine penis story? That has a lot to do with business, and cocaine penis is trending. Leonard Skinner is trending. I love Leonard Skinner. Leonard Skinner is trending because, oh boy, are the lefty libs, are they going crazy about Leonard Skinner? Leonard Skinner sucks. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis shares his new campaign song, Sweet Florida, which was written specifically for him and performed by Leonard Skinner frontman Johnny Van Zant. So, of course, like I said, all the libs. We hate Leonard Skinner. Hey, libs, you guys hated Leonard Skinner to begin with. This is not. I love Skinner. The Skinner documentary that I watched a couple of months ago was fascinating. They were good. That the dead one was really talented. Who's the dead one? Ronnie Van Zant was Ronnie the original lead singer and writer, and like the guy he tragically died in the plane crash. He was great. Jason Momoa is trending. This will be the last one for the day. Jason Momoa is trending because, oh my God. Okay, so first of all, full disclosure, love Jason Momoa. Love everything about Jason Momoa. Love his attitude, love his personality, love his seemingly inherent kindness and decency that he has. I love him as Aquaman. I love the character of Aquaman. I love the character of Drago from Game of Thrones. Jason Momoa is one of my favorite. He's been in the tabloids now for a lot of reasons. He's Jason Momoa. He's an A-list star, and he's one of the hottest people in Hollywood. Hot meaning like career-wise. I suppose he's also handsome, although he's a little scary and barbarian looking for me. What do you mean for you? Aren't you straight? Yeah, I guess I am. I guess that's the other part of it. That's the, I don't really sexualize Jason Momoa the way every female in the world apparently does. I just think he's cool. He was married to Lisa Bonet, and they seemed to have a really cool relationship, and then it was over. And they're not married anymore, and they broke up. And the tabloids have been, Lisa and Jason are both devastated by the breakup and blah, blah, blah. Well, Jason got over it because Jason is now with Kate Beckinsale. Kate Beckinsale and Jason Momoa have been seen canoodling together around Hollywood. No, they didn't get back together. Jason Momoa is actually also quoted today as trending as, "We are not getting back together." Today, Jason Momoa is trending because of these pictures with him and Kate Beckinsale, canoodling, as it's being described. Kate Beckinsale. I love me some Kate Beckinsale. Not to the degree that I love me some Jessica Chastain. But what I mean is it's similar in that category. Like, my love for Kate Beckinsale and for Jessica Chastain, certainly I find them attractive. But their whole vibe, their whole attitude, the way they act, any movie that has these people. Earlier I said that, if you tell me Will Smith is a movie, it's not going to necessarily get me to, go see it. But if you tell me that like it's a Kate Beckinsale movie, I love her. She's in it? Really? Okay, that seals it. I'm going. Didn't really want to see the movie, but she's in it, so I like her and I'm going to go see it. Jessica Chastain is a little bit more than that. I don't even need to know what the movie is. If it's Jessica Chastain in it, I'll go see it because she's great. She's awesome. But Kate Beckinsale, she gets around, man. That's the other thing that I like about Kate Beckinsale. She's English classy. She's beautiful, but she's not. I mean, Kate Beckinsale's beautiful, but she's not like Pam Anderson. That's not even to say that Pam Anderson is beautiful. What I think Kate Beckinsale is probably more desirable than Pam Anderson. But what I mean is that she's not overtly sexual about her beauty, which, there's a lot of people who are like, they're probably sevens in real life, but because they really slut it up and because they really flaunt it, she's a bombshell, like that. Kate Beckinsale is a 10 in a business suit. She's just got like this classy, sophisticated kind of thing. But she's been around now. Kate Beckinsale has been with a lot of people. She's got a lot of boyfriends. She's linked with people all the time. She even had the Pete Davidson run. When Pete Davidson got dumped by Ariana Grande, it was and she's like 20 years old. And that's the other thing. She dates like much younger men. Kate Beckinsale like swooped in and started squiring around Pete Davidson to get him over his sadness about Ariana Grande, which was a very like hot teacher kind of thing because there's a 20-year age difference, more than 20 probably, between Kate Beckinsale and Pete Davidson. But yeah, they were hanging out. Didn't last long because, Kate Beckinsale, I can't imagine that the things that Kate Beckinsale enjoys and finds stimulating are the same things that Pete Davidson enjoys and finds stimulating. You know what I mean? Kate Beckinsale probably would like to go to a nice Broadway play, maybe an opera, a nice fine dinner, have good dinner conversation with an interesting array of guests. Whereas Pete Davidson wants to, get high, listen to hip hop, and play video games. That's why it didn't work probably. but whatever. They were there. They were holding hands. So now it's looking like Jason Momoa and Kate Beckinsale are an item, which I'm all for. I would like to see this one stick. I would absolutely like to see this one stick because they could be my new favorite couple. Who's my new favorite Hollywood couple? I always have like a current. For a very long time, my favorite Hollywood couple has been Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard because I find them so enjoyable. But who else? Is there somebody? They're like, for me, they're the gold standard. Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard are like the gold standard of like cool ass Hollywood couple. And when I say this, it's not like, what Hollywood couple you want to have a threesome with? No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is like next door neighbors. Like how cool would it be to like have Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell living next door to you? That'd be fun. All right. It wouldn't be fun having Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian living next door. That would not be fun. They would not be cool. I mean, they might be cool, but they would be standoffish, and I just don't really see how we're going to hang out and barbecue together. I could totally see hanging out in the backyard with Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell. I could see that. Let's see here. Yeah, April. According to the Kardashians, we covered that story. Miss a day, miss a lot, April. A couple days ago, we talked about Pete Davidson just wanting sex from Kim Kardashian. Boy, oh boy. You want to talk about rich people problems? that is some rich people problems there. Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian are having sex way too much. Oh God. I can't relate to that problem at all. All right, let's I'm doing it again. That's the end of the show. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to see what's new that's trending. And I did it again. I clicked on Twitter. I don't like to use Twitter, but what the hell? It was handy. It was already up. So let's just hit refresh. April Fool's is still trending at number 1. PMS Austin theory stinks. I don't know what that means. MSNBC is trending. That's because Jen Psaki has said that she's going to leave the White House and go to MSNBC. We started out the show with this one. Craig Kimbrell is trending. The Dodgers have traded A.J. Pollock to the Chicago White Sox for Craig Kimbrell. I think we won that trade, quite honestly. It's just Craig Kimbrell's a bag of garbage. He's just... Craig Kimbrell seems to only be good in this situation if you need one out and it's the bottom of the 9th inning. That's it. Any other situation, Craig Kimbrell's going to give up 3 runs. Craig Kimbrell in the 7th inning to start the 7th inning in a tight ball game is going to give up 3 runs. But if it's the bottom of the 9th inning and you just need to get like one batter out, maybe he'll get that done. But honestly, with my team, the White Sox, we didn't need him for that. We have Liam Hendriks. And Liam Hendriks was not going to lose his closing job because Liam Hendriks, as I said, is the best closer in baseball. And Craig Kimbrell, he was made a middle reliever. He was made a late innings guy. Craig Kimbrell was brought in the 8th inning as sort of the setup guy for Liam Hendriks. And sure, it looked good on paper. Boy, look at the closers the White Sox have. They've got Liam Hendriks, the reigning closer of the year, and now they've acquired Craig Kimbrell. And Craig Kimbrell sucked. Staten Island is trending. Amazon workers at a New York warehouse vote to form the company's first union. All right. Marijuana is trending. That's right. The House just passed the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act. We'll see where that goes. Leonard Skinner is trending. Hope Solo is... Why is Hope Solo trending? Not the daughter of Han. Hope Solo's soccer player. Very pretty eyes. So whenever I think of Hope Solo, I think, God, that girl's got pretty eyes. Oh boy, I was just gonna say Hope Solo. My next thing was going to be Hope Solo is always getting herself in trouble though. Remember she was videotaped in a domestic dispute with her boyfriend or something, or maybe it's a girlfriend. I don't even know. See, that's how forward I am. That's how I don't even, I know that she was involved in a domestic incident. And if in fact she is a lesbian, because that's possible, she plays a sport and there's a lot of women in sports who are lesbians. She was in a domestic incident and I don't even remember if it was a guy or a girl because I don't care. That's how little I care about it. But Hope Solo is trending because she's arrested again. Oh my God. And it gets worse. Wow. Hope Solo could have been like the girl next door. So U.S. women, if you don't know who Hope Solo is, she's goaltender for the United States women's soccer team. Pretty, really pretty girl. Really pretty, seems cool, very good at her job of tending goal. But I think she has a drinking problem because she's been involved in a number of incidents that seem to, be involving alcohol. Hope Solo, the former goalie for the U.S. women's national team, was arrested for alleged DWI in North Carolina on Thursday afternoon. Police told TMZ that Solo, 40, was taken into custody and in the parking lot of a Walmart in Winston-Salem, where she was processed and then sent to Forsyth County Jail. Solo allegedly had 2 young kids in her car at the time. She is married to former NFL tight end Jeremy Stevens, and she has 2-year-old twins. It was not immediately clear if it was the twins who were in the car with her at the time, but TMZ says it was likely the case. On the advice of counsel, Hope can't speak about this situation, but she wants everyone to know that her kids are her life and that she was released immediately and is now home with her family. That the story is more sympathetic than the initial charges suggest, and that she looks forward to her opportunity to defend these charges, her lawyer, Rich Nichols, says in a statement. In addition to DWI, Solo is charged with resisting arrest, oh my God, and misdemeanor child abuse. In 2014, Solo was arrested. See, here we go. In 2014, so I was telling you about. In 2014, Solo was arrested for alleged domestic violence against her sister and nephew while intoxicated. Those charges were eventually dropped after the city of Kirkland, Washington ruled that the incident was unlikely to reoccur. Solo was the goalie for 2 U.S. women's national team gold medals and 1 World Cup. She recently spoke about her experience. Nobody cares. Anyway, she's, God, I like her. I hope she gets her shit together. I always thought she was spunky and had an attitude. That's tough, man. You're drinking in the middle of the afternoon. You got your kids in the car. I don't know. Don't know enough about it. Gonna have to look back into it. That's just the first initial story that's trending. Hope Solo, arrested for DWI. The resisting arrest always bothers me. You can't resist arrest. You're not going to get away. What are you thinking while you're resisting arrest? What's that about? Oh, I wonder if there's body cam. We might be seeing that on YouTube shortly. Why? No, stop it. You see them when they resist arrest. What are you doing? I mean, that's just, you can't do that. You can't do that, man. That is look, the minute they say, place your hands behind your back, you're done. It is done. At that point, place your hands behind your back means it's over. I am no longer an independent, free-thinking human being. I am the property of this person, and I just got to go with it because whatever it is that I've done has now taken a step into the more serious places. Let's see here. Yeah, that's it. Nothing else. Nothing else. There's nothing else trending. That's all. That's all we got. Yeah, April's right, man. Just shut your mouth. Just shut your mouth. We are in the era of the body cam and the dash cam. So if you think you are being unfairly arrested, here's what you need to be aware of. Everything that you do and everything that you say is being recorded. And however you are acting in this moment, you have to be cognizant of the idea that this tape is going to be shown in front of the judge and it's going to be shown in front of the jury. So if you're like resisting and you start getting snotty and all that. Think about how once you put your hands behind your back and those bracelets get cuffed on, click, click, you need to, at that point, start thinking, all right, how's everything from this point forward going to look in court? How do my actions moving forward now affect either negatively or positively the defense that I'm going to bring in court? That is most important with the DUI. You get a DUI, and I always tell people this: DUIs. What they'll do is they'll arrest you, they'll book you, they'll take your picture, and then they will put you in a room by yourself with a chair. And sometimes it's a little different, but in certain cases, it'll be just a small room with a chair. And they will say, all right, go on in there. We'll be with you in a minute. And they will uncuff you, and you will be free, and you will be in the holding cell. And with just a chair in the middle of the room. And the chair in the middle of the room is placed strategically. It's perfectly framed for the camera that is recording everything that you do. And when they put you in that room, they're not putting you in that room because they're busy doing other things. They put you in that room because they are at that point gathering evidence against you. They are recording everything that you do. If you stumble around in the room, if you start acting wild and all of that, the police are going to use all of that when they show the judge in your court appearance how they determined that you were intoxicated. So when they put you in that room and they put you in that chair, sit in the chair. Just sit in the chair and don't move. Now, if you truly are drunk and you truly are a menace, then you're not going to heed this advice anyways, and you're just going to act like a drunk fool. But if you're not drunk and you feel like, hey, man, I'm being railroaded here, remember, don't act like an asshole. Everything you do is being recorded. It's called having good tape. Your attorney will tell you before you go in, you should be fine. You've got good tape. And what he means by good tape is when you're riding to the police department in the back of the car, right? Are you zonked out? Are you slurring your words? Provide no evidence against you. Good tape. It's about good tape. You're in the back of the car. There is a camera on you in the back of the police car. Should you act up, those cops are going to use that against you. So don't act up. And also, just, if you do happen to be slurring your speech and all that kind of stuff, don't talk. Just use as many words as possible, because the minute you go, let me ask you just one question. Boom, you're guilty. You are guilty. The judge is going to see you pronounce officer as ossifer, and you are guilty. So just shut your mouth. Just shut your mouth. Give him good tape. Don't give him anything that's going to be used against you. There you go. Hope Solo apparently didn't know that, and she resisted, and she probably had a few choice words, and it's probably going to be ugly when all those things become public. All right. Even if you're dead to rights with blood, alcohol. The other thing that I will never do is I will never blow. I will never blow. If you are being accused of DWI, whether or not you, as soon as you know that this is a DWI thing, and when they ask you to blow, what is it that you're supposed to say? I always think about this. I'm sorry, officer, but at this time, I respectfully, what is it called? There's a certain legal word that you're supposed to use, and you just repeat it over and over again, because then you'll go to jail. I actually, that's the situation if you have been drinking. Like if you've had 2 drinks, 3 drinks, and you're worried that you might, because these tests are hinky, you might go over, but you know by your own standards that you're not drunk. Don't blow. Don't give them. Now here in Texas, here's the problem here in Texas, is that they do that thing where they have instant warrants, where they have a judge, waiting at a stop, and the judge can sign a warrant and they can forcibly take your blood, which that's got to stop. Look, I'm all for people not drinking and driving. I mean, I don't even drink at all. So, that's not really a problem for me. And I don't like the idea of, creating scenarios where people who are chronic drunks get in the cars. No, nobody is for that. But it's a money-making venture in a lot of counties where, they set up these traps where they get everybody, and somebody who's had a glass of wine with dinner is suddenly looking at like $10,000 in legal and fines because they had a glass of wine at dinner and they blew and they were just right at the level, and that's just enough to get you to be convicted. So don't give any evidence that is going to be used against you. Anyway, all right. Hope Solo doesn't follow that. Yeah, Jeff is right. They were going to arrest you anyway. Just blowing is just providing them with evidence that they will use to then convict you. Do not provide them with evidence. If you don't blow, your license will automatically be suspended. Yeah, it will, but it will also automatically be suspended if you blow and you blow hot. Now you're going to be convicted. Now you're going to go to, now you're going to go down. It is just, if you think you're being railroaded, don't blow. That's my advice. Now, if you know that you're drunk, and that you've done something bad, also don't blow. I just don't blow. Just do not blow. Every single celebrity, every single sports athlete, whoever gets a DUI, you always hear that they didn't blow. And that's because every single celebrity and every single DUI has, or athlete has agents who have gone over all of this with them. They have gone over it. Don't blow, no matter what. Don't give them evidence. As far as the automatic suspension and all that, that's fine. We'll be in court 2 days later. We'll get you a JDP. We'll get you a judicial driving permit. And you'll be suspended for 2 days, and then we'll get you. If you got a lawyer, you're not necessarily. Poor people who can't afford a lawyer who's going to go and get an expedited judicial driving permit in your order. That's the problem. But rich people can do that. Oh, yeah, if you don't blow, then they'll take your license for a mandatory 6 months. No, I got an attorney. No, I'll be in court on Monday morning, and the judge will say that it's fine for me to drive. I'll be inconvenienced by like 2 days. That's it. Oh, and the judicial driving permits are beautiful because they're supposed to be relief for these kinds of mandatory suspensions of licenses for people who don't blow. But what they actually do is they'll be like, okay, so what do you do for? Well, I got to drive to work. Okay, so you have a judicial driving permit between 6:00 in the morning and what time do you get home from work? I don't know, usually 7:30. Okay, so you've got a 13 and a half hour judicial driving permit. You just can't be in your car after 6:30. Oh, but sometimes for my job, I have to go out to dinner. Oh, okay. So how often does that happen? I don't know, 2-3 times a week. Okay. Well, then you just can't drive. And by the time you're done, it's like the only time you can't drive is between like 7:45 and 8:15. Our justice system is screwed up. If you have a lawyer, you can circumvent all of these things. These things only affect poor people. These things only affect working class people. And how do I know this? Because I am a poor person who has a whole lot of rich friends. I am a poor person who has been allowed to witness how the other half lives. And I am telling you, that's how it goes down. Jeff says, people don't understand that blowing confirms you have alcohol in your system. You can be DUI with less than 0.8. Yeah, I don't know. It's, look, I don't mean people who drink and drive are a real problem. But I don't drink. I barely drive. I barely drive these days. I run everywhere. I had to run up to the store. I had to run up to the racetrack. We have racetracks here. Well, in the Chicago area, we have speedways. It's the same thing as a racetrack, a convenience store, gas station, and all that kind of stuff. I always get confused too. I always say to my son, I'm like, let's go to the speedway. And he's like, we're not in Chicago, Dad. Because near my house in Chicago, we had a speedway. And near my house here, we have a racetrack. And sometimes I get him confused. I wonder if they're the same company. I don't know. Now I'm just talking about nonsense stuff. Now I'm just prattling on and on. It's time to end this show. All right. Yeah, we're going to do it. That's going to be it for today's Friday show. We'll be back with another show on Monday night for Pillow Talk. It's going to be Kelly joining us again. She joined us last Monday, and she said that she would join us on Monday evenings. Now she's got like a crap ton of kids and all that stuff, and so maybe she was just saying that, and she won't be there every Monday. But hopefully, so far, still on for this Monday. So it'll be me, James, and Kelly. That'll be fun. It was nice hearing her on the Pillow Talk show, wasn't it? Sure was. You can hear all the old episodes of those Pillow Talks and these high noon shows from the week. You can go to pugscast.com. Also, that's right. Keep it tuned here. Any big news? Like last Friday night, I popped on one unexpected show. Sadly, it was to cover the passing of Taylor Hawkins of the Foo Fighters, but that's something that we're going to do here. So make sure that you click subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And that way, anytime that we decide that we're going to, at the spur of the moment, jump on and cover something, some big news story or some event that is unfolding before our eyes, we can all do it together. Honestly, the Taylor Hawkins show, the most successful show that we have ever done. And I've done over 300 shows now. And the Taylor Hawkins show was the biggest. It was the most viewed. So I'm going to be doing more of these breaking news specific things. Trying to grow the show, You people just aren't. You people are supporting the show monetarily. Again, thank you so much for that. You guys got us to the finish line. It was looking bad this week because I hadn't really been pitching for, the gratuities and the support that we use to keep these shows going month by month. But holy shit, did you people come through. So thank you very much for that. But you're not sharing the show. Yeah, you're not sharing the show. And it's not growing. It is not growing the way that it needs to. So I am going to be jumping on with special breaking news events. Hold on. Why is Meathead trending? Oh, God. Meathead only trends when Rob Reiner says something stupid. Why is he trending? I don't know. Apparently it is a Rob Reiner thing. I don't know. Why, yes, Al. Kelly is awesome. Do you, Jeff? Do you love Reiner? I mean, Harry Met Sally is a great movie, but I find him to be a little bit preachy, especially on his. Do I like him as like a Hollywood person who has created things? Yes, absolutely. But as a Twitter follow, and I follow Reiner on Twitter, I just find him to be so preachy, just so condescending at times. It's like, do these people not understand that the reason that the bulk of the country despises liberals is because of the way they talk down to people? Rob Reiner violates that. Now, that's not to say that I disagree with the heart and soul of the things that he's saying. I don't. I disagree with the way they seem so condescending about their moral superiority. You have no moral superiority. You're in Hollywood. There is no moral superiority that comes with simply being a famous person in Hollywood. And they tend to project that, and it bothers me. I am not preachy. Oh, God, am I? Hey, there's Rob Barr. Rob Barr's in here. Rob Barr's one of the guys who got us through the finish line with a very nice and generous tip. I'm not even sure that Rob Barr was around yesterday when it was essentially Rob Barr Day on the show. He was named my all-time favorite Scotchman. He was, you know what? And I didn't see him in the chat room yesterday. So there you go, Rob. If you listen back to yesterday's show, yesterday's high noon show, you will see that I anointed you. I did a favorite Scotsman draft, and you were number one. So there you go. My old friend, going back decades and decades, my buddy Rob Barr. Well, you were working. You were probably doing God's work because Rob is a he does good stuff. Rob used to run Hire a Hero. Rob spent a good portion of his life dedicated to helping, returning veterans and all that stuff. And Rob, just between you and me, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I was hoping that you were listening yesterday because it was kind of Rob Barr Day on the noon show. It has been a journey, a multi-answer test. I am on a never-ending quest. Tomorrow is another day. The best is yet to come. Best is yet to come. So baffling to some. Later, Rob. Love you, buddy. That is all I need. All right, we're out. Again, hit subscribe. If there's any big breaking news, we'll cover it here. We'll jump on. Doesn't matter when. 2:00 in the morning, I'll jump on. 2:45 in the afternoon, I sign off, and something big happens, I'll sign right back on. So if you're watching on YouTube or on any of the platforms, just click on the subscribe button, hit the alerts so that you'll be aware of when these things happen. Have a great weekend, and if nothing big happens, we'll see you on Monday at noon for High Noon. Okay, bye, folks. I can smile a little now. Things are going good. I always had to be on guard. That is understood. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.